patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Well, it's time for some proper cricket. We've got the red ball nonsense out of the way, and it's white ball wonderment all the way for the next 10 weeks or so. 7 months out, we could be about to watch 5 dress rehearsals for the World T20 final. Australia, New Zealand, West Indies, and 1 or 2 others might well have a say in that, but we shall see. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and we're back in Ahmedabad, the scene of terror, fraught with tension and fear and all sorts of terrible things that have the England team have become accustomed to in the last few weeks or so. I thought we were going to Pune, but maybe that's only for the ODIs. We're back in the Modi Dome, and England have come a cropper there in recent times. Good afternoon to all of you, wherever you may be. I'm joined this afternoon in English terms by none other than Nestle Boy. Hello, Nestle Boy.
Good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world.
Whatever it may be. Well, it's evening in India, isn't it? Something like that. And also alongside him in a virtual sense, in the studio, along with the bear, we put them in together to create their own little bubble. It's Nakul M. Pandey.
Good afternoon, Hendo. Good afternoon, Nestlers, and hello, cricket.
Hello, cricket. Hello, indeed, cricket. And the news, the big cricket news of the day, apart from the fact the West Indies have got a new captain, is that there is no Rohit Sharma in the Indian team. Extraordinary stuff. I'll give you the teams, but let's just see. What do we make of that,
He's having a lie down for a couple of games.
He's being rested for the first 2 T20s, which only appears to have been decided relatively recently, because as recently as yesterday, Virat Kohli was saying that Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul are India's first choice opening partnership in T20 cricket. So I guess Rohit Sharma has now been bumped up the the queue in that sense and is being prioritised for some rest. But it's a chance for Shekhar Dhawan.
It is indeed. Shekhar Dhawan, of course, is a very good player at the top of the order. We've seen a lot of him in the IPL.
And he's got a really, really good jingle.
And he's got a fantastic jingle, of course, which is something that obviously Kohli and the selectors sit down and talk about before naming the team.
Absolutely.
And quite right too. Well, the news is that we will see that Indian team more or less straight away, because they have been put into bat by Owen Morgan. I'll give you the complete teams. The Indian team is KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan. Virat Kohli, Shreya Iyer, Rishabh Pant coming in at 5, back in the T20 team after a little bit of a break. Hardik Pandya, Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar. There are names there that will strike terror into the very heart of the England dressing room. Bhuvi Kumar is back. Where's he been? He's been injured, and it's great to see him back because he's got a wonderful jingle as well. Shardul Thakur and Yuzvendra Chahal, the leg spinner. That completes the 11 for the Indian team. For England, pretty much at full strength. Jason Roy, Jos Buttler, Dawid Malan, Johnny Bairstow, Owen Morgan, Ben Stokes, Sammy Curran, Jofra Archer. Better batsman at 8 in this form of the game, has to be said. Chris Jordan, Adil Rashid and Mark Wood. Mark Wood gets a game of cricket, which is pretty unusual for him because he seems to sort of traipse around the world carrying drinks as much as anything. What do we make of this England lineup? Jason Roy, of course, is going to be short of a bit of cricket, isn't he, Knuckle?
He is, yeah, and I was listening to some analysis yesterday that whereas, for example, Owen Morgan can pretty much come in cold and pick up where he left off, Jason Roy is someone who needs a bit more rhythm and a bit more game time, which of course he hasn't had because of things like the South Africa tour being cancelled partway through. He'll get the series. Obviously, he's a fabulous player. Jason Roy at his best can be a little bit vulnerable to spin early on, but once he gets going, he can be devastating. Certainly, I think England want him to be their first choice. Although, given a lot of the news about Alex Hales potentially being reintegrated at some point, he's got to score some runs, but he knows that whatever happens. Mark Wood, I think, was expected to come back in and play. That made a lot of sense. He's been part of England's white ball setup and first choice for a little while. A little bit surprised. No, I mean, the Rohit Sharma being rested is one thing, but a little bit surprised that India have been a little bit conservative with their batting selections.
Anyone in particular that you would prefer to see in that lineup?
Yeah, I was surprised that Surya Kumar Yadav, in particular, maybe Ishan Kishan, but particular Surya weren't given a go after both having stellar IPLs again. Both more aggressive options than Shreyas Iyer, who can take a while to get going. He's a very fine player of spin, Shreyas Iyer, but can take a while to get going. And then, given India, all the talk from India has been about how they want to be more aggressive throughout the course of the innings. It's a little bit of a surprise, but maybe they didn't want to make too many changes at the same time with Rohit Sharma rested. I'm delighted to see Rishabh Pant back in the T20 squad. He should be, for me, a regular in all formats.
Well, it'll be extraordinary for people who don't realise the fact that he wasn't in those teams in Australia. Really incredible when you see what he's done in Test cricket, and you see the way that he first came into the IPL. As he said, he didn't have a brilliant IPL this one that's just gone by, but he is an incredibly dangerous player. Anyway, the batsmen are out there. Does it look to me as if Virat Kohli is out there to open the batting? That can't be right, can it? That
would seem very unlikely.
No, it must be Rahul. We think it's Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan. So let's jingle those up in the hope that it is.
It's quite long, so I'll play the other one. It is Rahul and Dhawan.
Yes, so it's a right-hand, left-hand combination to start with, and they're in their new dark navy blue colours, India. England in red and blue, and it's Adil Rashid who is going to open the bowling, would you believe? This is a fascinating opening. It's going to be him bowling to the left-handed Shikhar Dhawan. Let's jingle him up.
Adil Rashid on the 45. 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 Adil ways, and Hill can turn it. And Hill can turn it both ways.
And the first one is a googly, which is played off the back foot by Shikadawan into the covers. He's got a slip in attendance. It was a little bit short, that one, so it just stood up a little bit, but Shikadawan was having a look at it. We've got a ring of 4 on the offside. I suspect he's got one man protecting out on the cover boundary. Difficult to see at the moment. We'll come to your tweets very shortly. Very difficult when we've got a slow bowler to start things. This is another googly. He goes on to the back foot and plays it into exactly the same place. And it is fielded, and there is no run. Sign of nerves out there for a man of such experience in Shikadawan, or maybe he thinks this is his opportunity. Talk about Rohit and Rahul being the openers going forward. He may just like to put a spanner in the works ever so slightly. We've got a man out on the deep mid-wicket boundary, it looks, as well. In comes Rashid. Oh, it's a horrible ball. He dragged that one down, and it's been swept out to the man patrolling the boundary. There's Johnny Bairstow, and the first run is scored. India move to 1 without loss.
I can tell you this is the first time in his white ball international career that Adil Rashid has opened the bowling.
Well, there you go. Now, this is an interesting tactic, isn't it? I wasn't going to say it was the first time he'd opened the bowling in T20 cricket, because you tend to do that sort of thing and then find out that there was a game in Ireland or the back end of I don't know, Mongolia, where he did it. But I'm glad to have that confirmation. And Rahul comes down to face the right-hander. 4 men on the leg side, 5 on the off. No one saving the single on the off. You've got a long on and a deep square leg for Rahul, as the Indian team on the bench look on intently. Rahul has a little look around. He had a brilliant opening partnership, didn't he, in the IPL this year with Agarwal. And scored a lot of runs in partnership with him early on in that tournament. Owen Morgan has the 2 hats on, as you expect, and Rashid is in, throws it up. It's one that goes straight on, and Rahul has a little look at that and defends it back to the bowler, and there is no run. This is a very good tactic from England, I feel, because these are guys who really love pace on the ball, especially Rahul. He can be really almost violent against the quicker bowlers early on.
Yeah, and he did slow down against spin, and particularly out of the power play throughout the IPL, as much as he was the IPL's leading run scorer.
Rashid in again, throws this one up, flicked through mid-on. They take a very gentle single, and India move to 2 without loss. I'm just wondering, though, if you have Rashid, are they going to bowl him 1 over, 2 overs? Are they going to bring him back in the middle? Are they going to bowl him out? Are they going to look to bowl him out in the power play? It's a curious one.
I'd imagine just the
one
one
worth
over.
Watching.
Imagine just the 1 over. England have struggled for taking power play wickets and keeping the runs down in the power play. They're one of the worst in the world among major T20 nations over the last few years.
Oh, he's in again to Shikadawan, and he plays a rather horrible sort of whip towards Morgan at square leg with the turn, and that's a very good first over from Adil Rashid. Just the 2 runs from it completely foxed Shikadawan and KL Rahul. And we have 2 for no wicket. Nestle boy, you've got some tweets. It must be people pouring in all the time.
It's a cast of thousands. Hot mic, we have Warren and Ken. Hi guys. Muttley's joined us.
Warren and Ken.
Love and sausages. Jay Grover's back with us, and he's having beer. Leia was there yesterday when Afghanistan declared for the first time in Test cricket. She's managed to get back to Germany in time for this. Ravi Nair's with us. Messi Jez, of course. There's the whole host of them. Mark Zip. Jersey Oak. What are the black armbands for, he says. Good point. What are the black armbands for? Could it be Joey Benjamin? Yes. Who died a couple of days ago, which is very sad. We paid tribute to him on our news and analysis section, if you want to go and have a look at that. I remember a very interesting game he had against Worcestershire. I think it was in the NatWest semi-final, and he was well involved in that game, in which Tom Moody and Graham Hick starred, as I recall. I'll have to look it up to get all the details. Anyway, when you heard the news about Joey Benjamin, you thought, well, surely not Joey Benjamin. He was one of those guys who always looked fit. Anyway, here is Jofra Archer. We'll jingle him up in a minute. He's going to open the bowling. He's into Rahul, and Rahul feels much more comfortable with that. Plays a lovely drive off the back foot, although he finds the fielder, and there is no run. I've got time for the jingle.
He will break your helmet, break your heart, hotter than lava, cooler than Bogart, in your face, your stumps, on your toes, on your mum. Go through.
IPL MVP in 2020 and richly deserved.
Of course, outside the off stump, he's bowled him! He's dragged it on from way outside the off stump. Not enough foot movement from KL Rahul, and Archer, the MVP, as we just said, has struck with his second delivery.
Go OUT the window, go OUT the window, go OUT the window, 'cause OUT spells out.
It does indeed. Poor shot there from Rahul, you have to say. Just didn't get the foot out at all. Through the hands of it, but not very convincingly. Dragged it back onto the stump. So he goes for just a single from 4 balls. And the experiment of Rahul and Dhawan at the top of the order, not looking so good right now. Let's have some more tweets while the wicket is down.
Well, Mark Zip has joined us while waiting for a brake job at the mechanics, hauling records around the country. Isn't kind on the stopping power. Venkash says, I hope India gets a solid score before supper. Jay Grover's feeling unnaturally verbose today, but it's the 2020 fuck sticks, he says. Jeff Perkins is with us. Hello, Jeff. Mark Kermode, a big fan of his these days, along with Simon Mayer. O'Neill Harris is with us. Hey, Gorillas, thanks for the brilliant coverage. Steve Kellett, our man in Kuala Lumpur, says, in me all, Yorkshire.
Well, Virat Kohli has come to crease. We'll jingle him up in a minute because he's got quite a long jingle. It's quite a good jingle. It's worth hearing. So while he's looking around, I was going to say we could play it, but we haven't really got time. We've got a man at slip. We've got a backward point, a cover, extra, mid-off on the edge of the circle, mid-on edge of the circle, mid-wicket, long leg. Those are the two men out, I think, long leg and another. I can't see him at the moment. Comes Archer to the India captain. He's in, he bowls, and he's onto the back foot and pushes into the offside. In comes the two-hatted Morgan, and he throws the ball into the wicketkeeper, even though he's nowhere near the stumps. The kind of thing they do nowadays. And there is no run.
The other man, the other man's back in third man, by the way.
The Indian says signals that they'll knock us on her ass. The pitches are prepared without a sign of grass. The score is mounting quickly and they've got a talking lead. We don't mind the challenges of being.
Onto the back foot goes Kohli again, plays this backward of square this time. Johnny Bairstow does the fielding, and there is no run.
Davey Warner rides around and says Kohli's the cat, Kohli's the cat.
Yeah, the field is set so that if Archer wants to go short at Virat Kohli, he can do. And Virat Kohli has been a little bit more susceptible to the short ball in recent times. He's been out there that way a few times. He's keeping those options open. Archer was staggeringly good during the last IPL.
Here he is again into Kohli, and that really rises on him, and he looks at that one. So does Geoff Archer. He looks at the pitch and said, "Where did that come from?" It nearly took him in the sternum. He managed to guide it down to backward point, but that was quite a vicious delivery. It's come back off the seam, and it's risen, and it's taken him actually on the top glove as he's tried to control that. Could have squeezed that index finger against the bat handle, which can always be incredibly painful. So, just a little bit for India to think about here.
Did see some bounce in the fourth test on probably not this track, but this pitch.
That's a horrible swipe by Kohli. I think he's been rattled by that delivery. I'm not sure what sort of shot that was. He's lucky that it didn't really go anywhere. It just lobbed up into the onside. But a very good first over from Archer. England well on top at the moment. It really was an awful stroke from Kohli. He's rattled. England have got India rattled. And 2 overs are gone for not very many. More tweets.
Joseph Chinzar says, thanks for the coverage. This is on YouTube. Big Brain 61 says, hi, Dr. Nick. Anthony Bush, hello, beautiful gorillas. Lovely to see you all today. RWF 12687. Morning all. Anyone see the West Indies versus Sri Lanka last night? I did not. Stan Weasler understands the Dr. Nick reference. I don't. And Anna P says, watching Star Sports video with gorilla commentary on in the background. English comms on Star is awful. Well, Anna, stay with us and tell all your friends.
First ball of new Adil Rashid over, so they're going to keep him going from the Adani end. Shigadhawan went across his stumps and tried to sweep away from middle and leg, but found the man on the 45 It's not Adil Rashid because he's bowling, and he's keeping the slip for the time being, which is all well and good. Just the 2 runs so far from the 2 overs, a wicket maiden in fact from Archer, as Rashid is in again, bowls, and he's gone for another rather ugly swipe across the line, but they're going to get a single to the 2-hatted Morgan, who comes in from square leg to field, and India are 3 for 1, and it will be Adil Rashid's first opportunity to bowl to the India captain. A strike rate in this form of the game at 138.2. It's not the highest on there. Who is the highest? Washington Sunder. No, Shardul Thacker, would you believe? 196.7, right down the bottom of the order. But late runs can be very useful, so we shouldn't mock that. Limited opportunities, but he can hit a long ball, Shardul Thacker. Well, we saw him bat very well, didn't we, in Australia? Here is Rashid then. Oh, he's made room for that. He smacked it in the air. He's going to be caught at mid-off. And Kohli, who has looked most unlike Kohli today, has gone already. And India on disarray. They are 3 for 2.
Then he waddled away, waddle.
India have been.
Wow.
India seemed a little. Didn't really react at all to Adil Rashid coming on, and then Archer bowled that brilliant over, getting the ball to lift from a length. Rahul was hesitant trying to play a cover drive, and Virat Kohli's not really gone through with the shot he was aiming. Obviously just to smash it over the offside, but his bat's turned horribly in his hand. He's got nowhere near the middle of the bat, and Chris Jordan's not dropping those. What a start for England.
Well, he went back, didn't he? He gave himself a lot of room. As you said, he was probably trying to lift it over the top of extra cover, but he did close the face of the bat, or almost roll the wrists on it, strangely enough. He's gone for a duck. Chris Jordan has taken the catch. And remarkable, really. India 3 for 2 certainly silenced the 50,000 who may be in the crowd out there. More tweets.
Well, Cricket Tracker India, Deepak Singh has joined us, and he says, hi, from India. Hopefully he's not too disappointed with what's going on. Jay Grover is saying, oh no, I'm on tweets. He says, no point me writing out. I could compose the Song of Solomon, and he paraphrased it to Jay Grover says, hi. Now. T20, it's difficult. Chris Silbury Beamed is with us. Good afternoon. Not so good afternoon to my colleagues organising meetings this afternoon. What else we got? Anup says, watching Star Sports on mute with guerrilla commentary in the background. Excellent. That's what we like to hit. The Jersey Jingle is with us as well. He says, no kids in school today, so I can listen to the whole game.
Rishabh Pant has come in a position early, so it all could get quite interesting, but he plays the first ball from Adil Rashid up to mid-off, and there is no run. We're looking at that awful wicket of Kohli. I think he was rattled by that Archer delivery, because he just seemed to lose his mind for the 2 balls after that. Could have been out with Archer's next ball, which is a horrible shot, and then it gets up the other end, plays something equally poorly. This looks like the googly, or it might have been the top spinner that just ran on a little bit. Rishabh Pant pushes it back to Adil Rashid. Adil Rashid says to the umpire, is it 2 left? No, he says, no, it's 1 left, old chap. So just a single so far. What can Rishabh do? He's been known to take the game away from England in Test cricket. Can he do it here? England well on top at the moment, just about to complete the 3rd over. It's 3 for 2. He's in to Pant. Pant goes back and cuts. Has he found the gap? He has. Rishabh Pant is off and running. It's the first boundary of the afternoon, and that spoils Rashid's figures a little bit. And India move on to 7 for 2.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Rishabh Pant.
Some positivity for India rather at last, an actually committed stroke. That was a stunning over from Archer, just getting the ball to a lift from a length, which we know he can do. We did see, as I say, this pitch. There was some bounce in the 4th Test track, and Archer was not only taking wickets, but was almost unhittable at times during the power play in the IPL. He was going, I think, 4.5 and over during the entire tournament in the power play, which is ridiculous.
Well, he's going to be coming in to bowl his 2nd over from the Reliance end, yet to concede a run, but he has got the wicket, of course, of Rahul, and he's going to be bowling to Shikhar Dhawan, who is on 2 from 6. I should say, of course, that you can read Guerrilla Cricket commentators' predictions for these 2 series, the T20s and the ODIs, on our review of the Test series, which is on our website. In comes Archer, bowls down the leg side, tickled away by Shikhar Dhawan. Certainly going to get 1. It's Johnny Bairstow who's just patrolling, and he's swooping in, but very quietly. And they'll just take the single, 8 for 2. Yes, if you go to our website, GorillaCricket.com, you go to news, you'll find lots and lots of stories there, including a wrap-up of what has gone on over the last 5 or 6 weeks in India, our opinions on that, and predictions for these 2 tournaments. I can tell you that the nutcase that is Tony Bishop, who is on next, reckons that India will win this T20 series 4-1. I don't think we got anything from Nestlers. Dave Brooke reckons 5-0 to India, although I may have made that up on his behalf. 8 for 2 is the score, and it's going to be Jofra Archer bowling to Rishabh Pant for the first time. He's in, bowls, and not much he can do there. Cramped a little bit on his leg stump, and defends it back to the bowler. There is no run. Are we doing the GPL today, by the way?
We are doing the GPL. The pot is £85 and it closes at 2:15 p.m. Go to GorillaCricket.com/competition. Log in or register, follow the on-screen instructions, and guess the number of runs that will be scored in today's T20 match. You pay £1 per guess, or the guesses go in the pot, and if you are absolutely right, you win the pot, which, as I say, starts at £85.
Win the pot! Again cramping Rishabh for a little bit of room on his leg stump. Maybe this is a little bit of a plan here from England. He only manages to divert it to mid-wicket where the two-hatted Morgan fields. And there is no run. Halfway through the 4th over, India are just 8 for 2. But things can change very quickly in T20 cricket, as we know. And before long, that could become 50 for 2 or 5. So we're not going to get too cocky as England followers. Though England would be quite happy with a win after what's gone on in recent times. In comes Jofra Archer again, bowls once more on that line, just back of a length, and there's nothing really that Rishabh can do. He might have to move around the crease a little bit here if he's going to be able to put Jofra Archer off. And yet another dot ball, 3 in a row from Jofra Archer, and very much an intense Indian bench at the moment, it has to be said. Rahul gone for 1, Kohli for a duck, Shikhar Dhawan has 3, Rishabh Pant has 4, Shreyas Iyer, Hardik Pandya, Axar Patel, Washington Sundar, plenty of batting, even Bhuvi Kumar, and Shardul Thakur coming in at number 10 can wield the willow quite successfully, but they might have to the way things are going at the moment. In comes Archer again, the slip's gone wide, he bowls, he's going to play the Jimmy Anderson shot. When I say the Jimmy Anderson shot, it's the one, the reverse paddle over the top of the slips, and that has gone, would you believe it, for 6 runs.
That's magnificent. That's almost the same delivery that Jofra Archer had been bowling, just back of a length, tucking Rishabh Pant up for room. But he's in such good form, and he's so confident in his game that he had the guts to play that stroke. And timed it magnificently, lifting it over the slips.
I mean, I don't even know how he played that shot. I'm looking at it now, I'm trying to work out which wrist was doing what. It's extraordinary, really. It was almost played with a straight bat, strangely enough, or certainly a vertical bat, rather than the flap that he played at Jimmy Anderson with the new ball last week. In comes Archer, bowls to him again. He flicks this away really nicely. Suddenly he's got a feeling for it. He's got his range. He's found a gap, and suddenly Jofra Archer has gone for 10 runs in 2 balls.
Give it to me 1 time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3 times. Yeah. Give it to me 4 times.
Rishabh Pant played 2 of India's T20 white ball internationals in 2020 and wasn't in the original World Cup squad.
It is incredible, isn't it? I mean, we've been fans from the very outset, you and me, Knuckle, I think, haven't we? We talked about that World Cup squad and why he wasn't initially in it. We were salivating at the prospect, but he's come on even more than I would have thought he could have done. The innings that he's played in recent times have just been quite phenomenal. I've not seen anything like it in any form of cricket, I don't think. Anyway, we've got a change of bowling. Adil Rashid is coming out of the attack. More pace in the form of Mark Wood.
Do you know Mark Wood? Yes, he is an England bowler, quite good and pretty quick.
So just a normal guy.
Of course, except for just one thing.
What?
He thinks that he's a horse.
Right. What?
Yeah, he's got a good average, Mark Wood. 18 wickets at 20, but the economy rate worries me. A 9.1. He's round the wicket to Shikhar Dhawan. It's a foolish ball outside the off stump, quite wide. They're appealing for a catch behind. I think the bat was just waved at that, and it probably just pitched in line with where the bat was coming down. Didn't actually take the edge. But, Wood gets away with one that was quite full, and possibly quite lucky not to have that flayed away to the boundary. Nitin Menon, you can read about him on Guerrilla Cricket News and features as well. His views on umpires call. We did a little article about that yesterday. Yeah, so it's a pretty fascinating little section we've got there now. Round the wicket he comes to Shikhar Dhawan, who gives himself a little bit of room and then rather daintily angles it out into the offside. Malan comes into field, and there is no run.
Yeah, Jersey Oak is drinking mead.
Ooh. Mead! Very nice.
With tonic and a slice of lemon on ice.
Oh, how decadent. How decadent you people are.
How's your back?
Something about mead and tonic doesn't quite work as a combination for me, just in terms of aesthetic. You think of mead of it being, drunk from a horn.
Yeah, in a big hall.
In comes Wood. Bowls to Shikhar Dhawan, and Shikhar Dhawan is trying to turn that on the onside. Gets an inside edge onto the pad, but is still going to run through for a single, despite the attentions of Ben Stokes, who finds himself at mid-off, trying to run in there, and score moves to 19 for 2.
You missed Wood, he fell over.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He fell over. He fell out the saddle.
He fell over.
Yes,
yeah.
It wasn't going to take long, was it?
No. Well, that's what we like from Mark Wood. That's what we expect from him. It's his stock ball, the falling over ball. If he doesn't fall over, it puts the batsman off. He lures them in with the falling over delivery, and then stays upright and takes a wicket. You mark my words, the next ball will be a wicket.
I'll mark your wood.
Mark my wood, indeed. Bowls to Shikhar Dhawan, rather Rishabh Pant. Two left-handers out there confusing me, and they get through for singles. He just drops this into the offside. Score moves to 20 for 2. We'll have a change at the end of this over. You will be delighted to hear that we have the Bear coming into the ball-by-ball chair. He will be joined by Tony on Twitter and various other forms of social media, and I shall be shifting a buttock to the left to take up position in the summarising chair.
Good pace throughout from Mark Wood, and again looking at this series, he's taken a lot of wickets in the power play. It's a very good strike rate in the power play over the last few years, although he has been expensive. He's been pretty much the only England bowler to take regular power play wickets over the last 2 or 3 years.
And he puts in a short one to Shikhar Dhawan, who leans out of the way, bends away from it. It's a good delivery that was angled in at the body, and so there wasn't any room for him to do anything with it, like uppercut it. And another dot to ball. India 20 for 2. They have 1 over and 1 ball remaining of the batting power play. Got Shreyas Iyer to come, Hardik Pandya, Axar Patel, Washington Sundar. Good players all. And of course, no Ravi Ashwin, who Kohli has ruled out coming back into the white ball side. Wood is in to complete the over. It's short and he's bowled him. He swung away. It was fairly short. He swung away, but it didn't go over the top of stumps. Clipped the bails. Shikhar Dhawan is on his way. He only made 4 from 12. And India, without Rishabh Pant, where would they be? They're 20 for 3.
Shikhar Dhawan was very good in the IPL. Had a pretty decent white ball tour of Australia in the games he played, but has very much not made the most of his opportunity with Rohit Sharma being rested. That was a very scratchy innings.
It was indeed. Although, apart from Rishabh Pant, pretty much every innings out there so far has been scratchy, and it's a really difficult start for India. It's a good job that they have got this batting strength. 20 for 3 after 5, only going along at 4 runs per over in the power play, which is almost unforgivable, isn't it? But you've got to give kudos to England's bowling, and giving kudos to England's bowling, I'm sure, will be none other than the Bear, who's going to slip into position
seamlessly. It's a bit discombobulating having someone else in the flat here, actually. I'm so used to be just sitting here on my Todd, feet up, now I have to be kind of a little bit decorum now, Knuckles here.
Yeah, I suppose you were being fed by wenches, grapes most of the time during
Oh, if
the
only.
Indian series.
If only. The new
If
man
only.
to the crease is this man.
Diving away at the edge of the place, so tragic. Rolling in pain off the field again, it's tragic. And you and your burning desire, you took my place.
We have a new bowler as well, which I'll give him a jingle in a second. And his first ball is pumped by Pant, but straight to the man at cover. It's no run. And he is this man.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the windy team.
And I'd like to take up what you were saying about predictions on our website from the people on Gorilla. As that has driven up to mid-off by Pant and there's no run. You're all a bunch of chickens, cowards and useless and don't know bugger all, is what I'm going to say.
Well, that'll encourage the listeners to come and join us.
Well, I can't believe you all think that we're going to lose. What did you go, Tony? 4-1 to India?
I did.
Well, we're the number one side in the
T20,
world.
go
Half
either
our
way.
side's played in the IPL and know these conditions really well. Why on earth do you think we're going to... I put England to win 4-1.
I had us to win the ODI series, by the way, before you get too upset.
Well, I had us to win both. That's slashed at by Pant. It goes down to third man, where Adil Rashid will field it. It gets caught in the lights. Of course, the LED lights go around and ring here. There's a stadium in England does that, or there's a stadium in the European Cup that does that. I think it's quite cool. Or is it? No, it's one of the ones in the UAE, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, you'll get there.
The
in
Ring
the
of
end.
Fire.
Yeah, it was the Ring of Fire in the UAE. That's the one. India 21 for 3. Kind of 3.82. It's an ODI. Pant here could be crucial, as we have seen him destroy England in the Test matches. And
Made 1-1-1 against England as Rishabh Pant in T20Is.
Yeah.
Only made 5 not out last time though, because I think India cruised in Chinnaswamy, I think, by about, quite a few runs, 70 odd runs.
Well, Sharathara is going to face his first ball. Jordan is in, and it's driven out towards the covers. Good little bit of fielding by Ben Stokes. There's a sort of extra cover wide, and there's a slightly deeper set cover. And we're still in a power play, aren't we? Crikey, 6 overs, isn't it? We're not having.
That's right.
We're not having a power surge yet in World
we haven't
T20.
got the big bash rules in.
I think that's not a bad one. I think that might well come into World T20 at some point in the next couple of years. Where Aya is going to face up to his 5th ball of the over. Jordan is in. Ooh, seems to jump on him a little bit. Jerks his head back, lifts his hands, mistimes it, maybe off the handle. It was aerial for a little bit, but drops short of cover. And there is no run. Oh no, he's just the bat twisting his hand, but I still think it jumped on him a little bit. Bottom hand came off the bat. Ain't no run.
Yeah, just wondering about this pitch actually, Bear, because there was one that jumped and seemed to unsettle Virat Kohli, hit him on the top hand from Jofra Archer in his opening over.
Well, yep, same for both sides. We shall see later. And that's dug into the pitch, and Shreyas Iyer just leans back, guides it off his back down towards third man, ends the over with a single, and you move on to 22 for 3. Social.
Yes, absolutely. Warren said, condensing a cricket continues. T20 over in 30 minutes. Ravi Nair says, at least you're more successful at replying to tweets than reading them out. I'm not sure who that was related to. Presumably not me. Grand Theft Auto. Old Otto says, what is the T20 equivalent of a test match that ends on day 2? This might be it after the start. No, I think things are settling down. All fart at play says, hi from Ireland, listening to Guerrilla Cricket while watching Sky Sports in the background. Messi Jers says, remarkable, in 80 T20 innings, that was only Kohli's 3rd duck and his first since June 2018. O'Neill Harris says, by the way, I must compliment your articles. They're awesome. I'll read that again. By the way, I must compliment your articles. They're awesome.
Do it again. Do it again, please.
One more time. By the way, everyone's articles except Hendo's are awesome. Hey! I need to find out a way to get them all. Well, they're all on the website.
They're all on the website.
O'Neill Harris. So they're all there for you. Any chance the Bear can get Guerrilla Cricket News added to Flipboard or Apple News? Oh, we'll try that. Thank you for that tip.
I should investigate these things. As I've discovered I'm not as technically proficient as I'd like to think I am in certain areas. As Wood comes in to bowl to Shreyas Iyer, who gets on his toes and guides that towards third man, gets himself a single and gets himself off strike. Some people on Hot Mic asking, is this sinkable? It is sinkable. It should be sinkable.
Unlike the Titanic.
Yes. It's back on Sky. You can sync to that, so you should be able to sync it. All those people on Hot Mic. It was one of the ways you can join us. Have you got YouTube up, Tone?
I do, my good friend. I do.
Okay.
Do you want me to read some of those?
Well,
quickly?
if there was some there, yeah.
Ken says he'd got used to watching free cricket. Diana Craddock's with us again, which is great, saying good afternoon. Are we excited? Yes, we are.
Wood is in to Pant, who just jabs his bat down on it, goes to Archer at mid-on, and Woody's fallen over again. He's good at that.
We're not the kind of excited where Knackle was offering to do something to Hendo's Wood, though. Not that sort of excitement.
Well, I will say this: if you listen to the podcast, the alternative podcast that was made yesterday, that's also up. Look, we do loads of stuff, people.
I've listened to it. I listened to it this morning.
Well, there's one of the crazy stories I found was a man in Brazil who wanted to get in the Guinness Book of Records for having the biggest knob in the world. It was 18.5 inches long.
No.
And
not necessary.
Well, he thought it weighed 2 pounds, and he wanted to get it in the World Guinness Book of Records.
What's it got to do with cricket?
It's the alternative cricket podcast, Hendo, as that is defended by Shreyas Iyer out to point, and there is no run.
Does any cricket actually get discussed?
Yeah, it does. It does these days.
In defence of them, this time they did actually do quite an extensive little review of the Test series.
But
that would be requiring them to have done some preparation, though.
No, not at all. I've watched most of it. It's opinion. It's opinion, Hendo. What did I see? I saw England getting outplayed, is what I saw in that Test series, and unable to play spin. Mark Wood is going to come in. He's over the wicket to Shreyas Iyer. I think that was maybe a little cutter. Seemed to jab in a little bit at Shreyas Iyer and didn't seem to have the usual amount of pace, and he consequently just guided it very fine down to the fine leg boundary and got himself 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That was
good pace, and 150, 149 the first 3 balls that over. That one was a little bit slower, and he maybe just let it go a little bit too early there. It didn't quite get the angle right. He's got a short leg in there now.
Oh, now that's funky for a T20. Woody is in, bowls it short, and again, oh wow, that nearly carried down to, I think it's Adil Rashid down at third man. A little bit short, a little bit wide, cut at it. Again, it seemed to bounce him a little bit. His hand came off the bottom of the bat. It seems to got a thickish outside edge with a horizontal. But no, he didn't. He played it off the face, but it got large on him, and it bounced only about 2 yards short of Adil Rashid down at third man. Wonder how long these boundaries are. Do you think they're pretty short?
Well, that one that Rishabh back flapped for 6 was 58 meters. That was the actual length of the of the shot. Yeah, so that means it's probably about 56 meters.
Christ, that's like playing on Toy Town at my school. We used to have a pitch at the back of my secondary school, and it was called Toy Town because the boundaries were about, literally, it must have been about a 30-yard circle. Woody in, around a wicket. Pant just jabs that into the offside. He wants a run, but it's not there. And the skipper Morgs picks it up and doesn't do anything with it, just holds it. Enter the 7th over, no run. Shreyas Iyer will face up. He's on 7.
Jay Grover, who I believe had a birthday recently, if I remember things right, says, I'm not betting or a superstitious man, but any result which would cause Modi discomfort might cause me twatwood toward candlelit brood. I sacrifice. Twatwood is now a word, use it wisely. Well, I've used it twice and probably regretting it already.
It's a great word.
Jersey Jingler says, was literally entering my GPL guess when Jofra went for 10. I quickly erased and entered a higher score.
It's open for 45 minutes. I think next game we'll open it for maybe a little bit longer than that even.
One more.
Still got 10 minutes. Still got 10 minutes.
But I think we've decided on the short form games. You don't never enter because there's not enough time to really digest what the final runs will be. So we've decided that in Test matches you get 2 hours in the morning session of a day, and I think in ODIs and T20s we're going to give you most of the first innings, hopefully it's difficult to time, obviously, because you don't do it by overs, you do it by time. So trying to get sort of 40 overs of a first innings in an ODI and 15 of a T20. Next ball is a new bowler, which I shall give you a jingle for. His first ball is not particularly quick, and it's driven up to mid-on. And there ain't no run. It's this man.
Ben? Ben Stokes.
You just see Joffre flapping his arm around there. What do you think's wrong with Joff?
It's his elbow, isn't it? His dodgy
his elbow
elbow
again, yeah. But NASA seemed to think it was similar to what he had before. But I thought he had an operation on that. Clipped down to long leg where Woody is fielding, and it'll just be a single.
I can tell you quickly, Brian Barish has said, "Good day, good morning, cricket nerds. Spring has sprung on the East Coast, and that means that bat and ball sports are back on vogue. Settling in with a Bananas Foster coffee for the morning's hit and giggle." Fabulous. Welcome, Brian. As ever.
Has anyone been known to actually giggle while at a T20?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
I don't giggle. I don't giggle at all.
I mean, not normally about the cricket. Normally about whatever conversation I'm engaged in at the time.
Yeah, Stokes in, bowls. Ooh, squares up, Shrazad, trying to whip it into the leg side. Big fat leading edge, goes square out to the man on the boundary. It'll be just a single. And India won't be typically happy at being 32 for 3 or 7.3 overs, one wouldn't imagine.
No, and at the moment, England are keeping Rishabh Pant away from the strike quite a bit as well, which is quite handy because he was beginning to get going, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And if they were to get Rishabh, that might send a few shockwaves through the Indian dressing room.
Indeed. Well, we've just seen a match-up between England and India in international T20s. Next ball is full and clipped by Pant, but straight to Una.
You already feel he's the key wicket, don't you? Rishabh Pant.
You do, and you also feel that he's perhaps with that last shot, he's like in the Test match, he's playing a little bit more sensibly. He's not going to give it away, knowing that perhaps he can cash in a little bit later on.
Well, that comes back to the Andy Ward conundrum, doesn't it? Is he going to be on for any of these T20s?
He is. He's on the list.
He's decided to make his way back now that the short form nonsense is on. Stokes in, bowls, slower ball, and just turned into the leg side by Pant, wide enough of Sam Curran, who's quite straight at mid wicket. And they'll get 3 for a single. One ball left and it's over, 33 for 3. They've still got Hardik Pandya, who is can be bloody destructive later on. He's in next, I presume. Yeah, he will be. He was in down on 6th, I think.
Yeah, got a couple of 90s, I think, in the T20s. Was it in the T20s or was it the ODIs in Australia?
I can't remember.
We haven't seen anything of him since, have we? Because he's struggling to get into the Test side.
Well, he's another one. Didn't he injure himself terribly? We were watching that game, weren't we? And it was a couple of IPLs ago. Very full by Stokes and driven down to long on, where it's fielded. And that's the end of the 8th over. No, that was a single.
Right then, Joseph Chinzar is thanking us for the coverage. Big Brain 6 is saying, Big Brain 61 is saying hello, as is Anthony Bush saying, "Hello, beautiful gorillas." Oh, he must be talking about the previous crew.
He's
hang on, you were on that as well, though, Hendo, weren't you?
Talking about me, Tony.
Hello, beautiful gorillas. Lovely to see you all today. RWF 12687, which sounds like a computer. It says, "Morning all, everyone. See the West Indies versus Sri Lanka last night?" Yes, some of it. Stan Weasler says, "Big Brain 61. I understood that reference. Okay, they're having a conversation between themselves. Loads and loads of people on Twitter. Let's see what I can do. Jay Grover is saying, Mead, satiate the need. Tonic, though, what mogs a mead man? He must adjudicate. Okay. Jeff Perkins says, Knuckle only drinks mead when he's horny. Goes through gallons of the stuff, you say. Jay Grover says, Mint, 3 beards, as is right and proper. I believe he must be talking about us 3 in that particular instance. Chris Drew says, you were struggling there, but I don't know who he was saying it to. And Muttley says, well, woof. Well, he may have said that earlier. He doesn't say that in this tweet. He could still be right, Hendo. England won the first test emphatically, don't forget.
Yeah, Sammy Curran is around the wicket to Shayasar. There's a little bit of a cutter, didn't have a lot of pace on it. He just blocked it onto the leg side. There's no one. Did anyone see the out of struck wicket?
Yes.
That was nonsense.
It was a disgrace in as much as there was literally no way you could have got out of the way.
And
it was just shocking umpiring. I'm sorry.
It was shocking umpire, and it literally, he hadn't even literally set off. He took about a step and a half, and Kieran Pollard still had to run the length of the thing. He was always going to get back. There was no reason for Kieran Pollard to appeal, really.
Well, he was just a bit annoyed because he
made it down to the
tread
other
on the
end.
ball, but he didn't do it on purpose.
No, and it's just played around the corner by Shiraz Iyer, which will bring Pant back on strike after a single. As we're 1-4 in the last 12 balls. And a lot of singles and a couple of dots.
That's a new bowl, by the way, Bear.
Oh, it is. I should play him a jingle.
You can't keep up. It's all too quick.
It's all too quick. I've forgotten about this.
You've got
Sam Curran. What is distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His dad's from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
And he's over wicket to Rishabh Pant. And seemed to duck in a little bit off the pitch. And it's just played out to mid wicket. It's pretty straight on the edge of the circle. Hardik Pandya is geeing the crowd up by sprinting around on the boundary. Let's have a look.
There's that, isn't it?
Yeah, it seemed to hit the seam. Came in a little bit at Rishabh.
steered it nicely though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Over the wicket again. Into the pitch. It doesn't really get up. Rishabh ducks underneath it. Yeah, probably only, and he's a short man, and he just went over his helmet. They've all got these kind of mid-length haircuts now, haven't they? They've kind of had haircuts, but they've kind of decided, yeah, we'll just keep it a little bit long.
Well, do you know, I gave a haircut to Mrs. Hendo this morning.
Did you?
I did.
How did that go?
Is she still there, or is she left home?
She wandered out the door.
She's left home, yeah. She's like, I did too much,
but
apparently.
no one's going to recognise her, so she'll be all right.
Sammy Curran certainly looks like he's been lying on a sun lounger. He looks quite tanned.
Yeah, he's also highlighted his hair, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure he's had some dye put on that.
It looks like it. It's another slower ball into the pads. Panthers plays it down to long leg. He'll get himself a single. Fielded by Adil Rashid. He's got two in the bag to bowl, as has Jofra. Good use of the bowling resources here. That was another thing they were yapping on about on the TV, was the fact that England have struggled in the power plays at the beginning of the games and drag it back in the middle, which is usually when Adil Rashid bowls.
Well, I think, if you've got a good spinner, it's always worth opening with the spinners, because very few opening batsmen, and we've seen it here again, actually like to play up top against slow bowling.
No.
They like pace on the ball.
They don't. 2 minutes left for the GPL, by the way. Last ball of the over. And around the wicket comes Sari Khan, and it goes down to the boundary, and it's going to be 4 runs. So I just played the angle there.
Yeah, just spoiled a really good over, didn't he? And it's still a decent over. If you only go for 6 runs, it's still a pretty good over in T20. But it'd been really expert up until that point. A man who's not had any cricket for
a little while,
a few weeks now.
Yeah.
Tweets then.
Yes. Dorian Gray, who I swear gets younger every time I look at his picture, says, listening to you as I work from home in South Florida. England have made an excellent start in the first T20, but let's bear in mind the results of the tests. Wise counsel indeed.
The thing is,
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, after the test matches, by the end of the series, if England win the test series, you kind of forget about the tests at the beginning, and you go, oh, look, we won. It's all good. Slower ball by Stokes, and a big heave by Pant, and completely mistimed it. Bottom edge out to mid-wicket, no run. Another change at the end of this over. I'm out. I don't know who's in.
I think I'm still here, but I'm doing something different.
Yeah, it's Knuckle, Nestlers and Tony in next. That was a really clever ball from Stokes. Really took the pace off it, and I'm not sure whether it's Pants being kept quiet or whether he's deliberately choosing to stay fairly quiet at this moment. I think he's 20 off 21.
I think he's been kept quiet, actually. That's been clipped nicely by him, but then only got a single. He's mistimed a fair few shots after he got that 6 and that 4 and that over. There's been a lot of heaves, mishits.
Do you think it's down to clever bowling, or is there something in the pitch that the ball's not coming on quite as the batsman would like it? I think there may be a mixture of those things.
Well, I think there may be a little bit of that, as the modern equivalent of the lighter being lit has gone up, as everyone just turns their phone screens on or turns their lights on their phones and holds them up. I guess it's dusky time. Stokes in, bowls, punched off the back foot, beats the man at backward point, will race away to the backward point boundary for 4 runs.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Yeah, I thought that was poor from Jason Roy at backward point there. I think he should have done better. I think Stokes looked at him as if to say, hang on, that's not up to your usual standards. I mean, it's a nice enough shot, nicely timed, but I thought Roy should have done a bit better.
It went
at
through him, it did seem to, didn't it?
No, maybe not, maybe not.
A little bit wide of him.
Yeah, maybe being a bit harsh.
Yeah, Stokesy was definitely being a little bit harsh. 3 balls left in the over. Shreyas Iyer 19 off 14, Pant 21 off 22, 45 for 3 as Stokes comes in to bowl the 4th ball of the 10th over. It's clipped square on the leg side. They're going to get back for 2.
Deepak Singh saying hello to us on Crick Tracker India.
Hello.
As are quite a few other people.
Hello.
Heral Kala, Balabala, Rasi Afghan, Birek Raj Sharma, Harshit Garg, Rim Binay Akela, Rinku Tak, Raj Kishore, and many others. So just hello to all of you. Keep on listening. Glad you're here.
As projected score, current rate be only 97. I imagine it'll be around about 130, 140. Stokes comes in, bowls. It's just blocked square by Shreyas Iyer, out to the man on the boundary. That'll be a single. This is my last ball. Bairstow's out there. It's the first time I said his name.
There's a man on YouTube called Jimmy Danger. What a name, Jimmy Danger.
I think he was in touch.
There's half an hour gone and England aren't out the game.
Yeah.
Thank God for the one-day team.
Well, these will be a lot closer. The wickets aren't going to offer much, are they? Let's face it. It's not the name of the game with an ODI wicket or a T20 wicket. Everyone comes to see sixes smashed and big scores. So generally, they're pretty placid affairs. Pant is going to face up to the last ball of the over that Stokes bowls, and he flicks it, clips it nicely, straight to the man on the square leg. Who is Johnny Bairstow? Rishabh Pant is out, 21 off 22. Oh dear, it's all falling apart for India. They are 48 for 4.
Is it my imagination, or is there just a little bit more of Johnny Bairstow than once there was? No one will know. Everyone's disappeared on me. I'll read some tweets in the meantime while everyone else gets settled. Brian Barrish says, oh no, we don't need any Australian fidget spinner rules in the T20, do we? Adam Farr says, what's the T20 equivalent of winning within 2 days? And let me see. Nitin Bajaj says, hello folks, England are just leagues ahead of all the other white ball sides, absolutely menacing, legit dynasty in the making. Shout out to my main G-man who's listening in after a long time. Okay, fantastic. Jeff Perkins, Gorilla Cricket articles have something for everyone. Whether you thought Moeen's performance warranted a rating of 2 out of 10 through to 7 out of 10, you could find someone to agree with on there. Yes, indeed, you could.
India had said in the run-up to this series that they wanted to be aggressive throughout their innings. We've seen precious little sign of that. Brilliant bowling from Rashid and Archer in the power play, put them on the back foot, and they've been stodgy ever since. They're now 48 for 4 at the halfway mark, having been put in by England. Rishabh Pant didn't score a boundary after those 2 in a row off Archer, eventually fell for 21 off 23. Shreyas Iyer has looked the more fluent and starting unusually quickly for him. He's 22 off 16. We have a change of bowling and returning to the Adani end after 2 very good overs in the power play. It doesn't often bowl there. It's the first time in well over 170, I think 178 internationals that he'd opened the bowling. 2 overs, 1 for 7. It's this man.
Rashid on the 45, and 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 he'll can turn it both ways, and he'll can turn it, and he'll can turn it both ways, and he'll can turn it, and he'll can turn it both ways, and he'll can turn it on the 45.
Yes, I had a good player spin. Interesting matchup. But Rashid doing his business in the middle over. Starts with 1 at the front of the hand on middle and leg stump and pushed by Shreyas Iyer to Owen 2 caps Morgan at short mid wicket, and there is no run. I'm Nakul Pandey taking you through the next 5 overs of what is starting off as a brilliant performance by England. I'm joined by Tony Bishop and Sean Leslie Boy Tracy.
Hey!
Hey! The orangery combining there, Stokes and Bairstow to dismiss Rishabh Pant. Tossed up, Shreyas Iyer goes after it, and a big dive from Owen Morgan at mid-wicket. I'm not sure if he got a hand to that or not. Maybe take some of the pace off it. Would have been a brilliant catch if he'd held on to it. And Bairstow does the mopping up at deep mid-wicket, and they come back for 2. How close was this to Morgan? It was certainly aerial. Shreyas Iyer trying to get on with it. Didn't time it very well. Just wide of a dive of Owen Morgan. Would have been a brilliant catch. Maybe just flicked a fingernail.
If he'd have got that, he'd have been basically flying like Superman.
Would have been super heroic. 2 runs to Shreyas Iyer, 24 off 18. Googly from Rashid. Shreyas goes back, tries to cut, doesn't get enough room to do so. Can't beat backward point, and there is no run. Only 5 4s and 1 6 in the innings thus far, both by the Delhi Capitals men, Rishabh Pant and Shreyas Iyer. Pant making his first T20 international white ball appearance for a little while. Didn't have a brilliant IPL, tossed up outside off stump, driven by Shreyas Iyer and beautifully placed through the offside. Darvin Malan was at cover point really, and this was driven very nicely through extra cover. 4 runs to Iyer.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Gorgeous shot, Tony.
It was classical shot actually. It was just a cover drive, wasn't it? Quite a bit risky, I suppose, but away it went through extra cover, and it's going to be 4 all the way without ever really leaving the ground.
Yeah, a little bit of a stretch down the track and a little bit of bottom handwork to make sure that he beat the man. This one he punches down too long off for a single, bringing this man onto strike. He was in devastating form during the IPL and on the tour of Australia with the bat. He will have some work to do with the ball now that he's fully recovered from that back injury he got a year and a bit ago. It's this man.
And in breaking news, Hardik Pandya.
Devastating death hitter, can hit 6s to any part of any ground. The men back are long leg, deep square leg, long on, long off, and point. This is outside off stump. Hardik Pandya stretches forward and pushes to cover. There is no run. Just 7 runs off the over. India keep going nowhere slowly. They're 55 for 4 after 11.
Well, excuse me, Brian Barish on the 18-inch knob says, what's it got to do with cricket? I may be a stupid American, but isn't carrying your bat an accomplishment in Test cricket? And Warren also on that says he wants to use it as a bookmark in the Guinness Book of Records.
Andy at fancy dress parties, put it over your shoulder and go as a petrol pump.
Nestlers, we're not really hearing you quite right.
No, you are a bit quiet, Nestlers.
That's all right, I've fixed it.
Oh, well done.
Jay Grover says all of the articles are awesome. Occasionally they give a coke-addled ex-ad man with a chant for hyperbolic punctuation a gig, but we shall not talk.
Oh, hello. I wonder who that is.
Yeah, well, you know. Wasn't that dubious record relevant to cricket because boycott is a much bigger knob? Says Jeff Perkins. John Perry's tuned in after half an hour after play begins without an overweening sense of dread that will have been spun out for 12. Thanks ever for your great coverage.
It's almost like England are really good at white ball cricket. All of
amazing, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
This game's far from one, chaps. Let's not overdo it.
Change of bowling at the Adani end. Ben Stokes out of the attack after picking up the wicket of Rishabh Pant. 2 overs, 1 for 13, and this man coming back for his 3rd over presumably will not be used at the death. He's bowled very well. 2 overs, 1 for 9 and a couple of falls. I'll jingle him up after this delivery to Shreyas Iyer. He's in back of the length and punched off the back foot by Iyer. Quick single taken by he, and Hardik Pandya made it comfortably even though Jordan was in attendance. Iyer moves to 30 and this man is on to bowl.
Do you know Mark Wood? Yes, he is an England bowler, quite good and pretty quick. So just a normal guy. Of course, except for just one thing. What? He thinks that he's a horse. Right. What?
He's been threatening and fast throughout this spell, regularly clearing 150 kilometres per hour, well in the low to mid 90s.
And fallen over, don't forget.
Has fallen over.
You will know normal service has been resumed when he's hurling himself headlong into the wicket.
Yeah, indeed, he's fallen over twice now and was nearly trampled a little while ago by Rishabh Pant. This is back of a length and Hardik on the back foot blocks up to Archer coming in from mid on, and there is no
The thing about
run.
pace in this kind of cricket, particularly against this quality of opposition, is it has to be unerringly accurate. Because otherwise, as Hendo was saying, that you let the pace on the ball do the work, and it's particularly with fielding restrictions if it goes to the boundary. So you have to be right on the money in terms of accuracy. Being quick is just not good enough on its own.
No, indeed, but Archer and Wood have got their lengths perfectly right on this wicket thus far. Wood in to Hardik Pandya, the back of a length, and Hardik goes deep in the crease and just opens the face and guides it to Roy, and they take a single to backward point. Hardik off the mark, and we'll certainly see this later in the innings when the death overs come. If Hardik has anything remotely length, then he'll be going at it and probably sending it into the crowd. He can even hit very good Yorkers for 6, but Archer and Wood have been excellent, as they were throughout the white ball summer of 2020, where they troubled Australia, particularly with those just back of a length deliveries that were rising. Archer can make a perfectly normal length delivery go like a bouncer. Shreyas Iyer facing up to the fourth ball of the over from Mark Wood. India 57 for 4 after 11.3 if you're just joining us. Mini misfield from Jason Roy as Iyer punches this off the back foot. Not a particularly good throw in. Possibly there was always going to be one there, but Jason Roy not quite doing the business.
He's another one who looks like he's put on a tiny bit of timber. Johnny Bairstow looks like he has. Is Johnny Bairstow's theory that, if he gets himself to be larger, there'll be less of a gap between bat and pad? It might be imaginary. It might be just gym work, and I might be doing them a horrible disservice. They both look just a wee bit chunkier to me.
Camera puts pounds on, Tony.
Maybe. I mean, they're both fairly muscular. Both fairly muscular fellows. Roy and
yeah. Like I said, I'm prepared to say that it might be gym work and optical illusion.
In comes Wood, hair standing on end like he's just stuck his finger in an electrical socket, and that was an electrifying delivery to Hardik Pandya. A beautiful delivery, back of a length, and zipping past the outside edge of Hardik Pandya, who plays and misses and shrugs and smiles as if to say, what can you do about that? Beautiful delivery through to Butler. There is no run. Woof.
I'll tell you something that's interesting about this ground. Now, I know statistics because it's not the most used of stadia, is it? And you're looking at kind of previous history, but one thing I noticed was that since 2014 the domestic T20 average for games played here has gone down and down and down. In 2014 it was 170, by 2021 it was 140.
Last ball of the over from Wood, as this is outside off stump, and not particularly well timed by Hardik as he tries to cut. Can't beat Morgan at cover. There is no run. Great over from Mark Wood, 3 runs off it. He's gone for 1 for 12 off his 3. India struggling along to 58 for 4. I mean, bear in mind the stadium was Tony was, I think, torn down in 2015.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it's been rebuilt. Let's let Nestlers have a run because he's probably deluged, poor lad.
I am. Leia says it's a very in-England in test score by India. Jay Grover, I just low-key insulted Tony and he wished me a happy birthday. I'm now riven with guilt and will have to take the Eskimo walk in the Twatwood. Neymar Butlins is with us from LA. I'm going to celebrate this series by having a tea every 20 minutes today. Get it? Chucky is looking very blonde, says Warren. Jersey Jingler demands that you find and play his Pandya jingle. It contains one of his finest lyrics. Hendo can't have done too bad a job of cutting hair if the victim doesn't voluntarily add another month to their self-isolation.
Or indeed if he's not accidentally Sweeney Todded his life partner. We do have a change of bowling at the Reliance end. He's only bowled 1 over thus far. Does tend to be saved for the death. Here he comes in place of Adil Rashid.
Chris Jordan's back.
Chris Jordan in to Shreyas Iyer, full outside off stump, driven up to Archer at mid-off. There is no run. About to bowl to another man, Hardik Pandya, who's had back issues.
England's bowling has been extremely accurate for the most part, and that was a classic example. I mean, you wouldn't call the ball in itself threatening, it was just sort of angled into the right-hander, but it was just full enough, but not to be too full. And it really, the most, barring an extraordinary shot, the most Hardik was going to get was a single.
Yeah, he's Shreyas Iyer in fact he tried to drive, didn't really time it too well. 3 men back on the leg side at long leg, deep backward square and long on, and the other men back are at extra cover and third man. It's 2 deep extra cover that this goes. Hardik just pushes the single off Chris Jordan. I wonder, Tony, who India are going to target, because they've got to target someone to get a score on the board.
Well, let's have a look. Who's bowled what so far?
Well, Sam Curran's bowled 1, Ben Stokes has bowled 2.
Yeah.
Jordan's got 2 left after this. Imagine Joffer or Archer will bowl.
Sheet's
will bowl
got
out.
1, Archer 2, yeah.
Not sure.
2 for Stokes,
Maybe
3 for Curran.
Maybe I'm not sure Stokes will bowl another. This is outside off stump, and Jordan is cut by Iyer down to third man. 3 singles.
In answer to your question, my instinct tells me Curran.
Could well be.
There's more of his overs. They know perhaps a little bit more about him after with his spell in the IPL. They may just not like his hair colour. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he is someone who he doesn't have the pace to trouble India. He's got, but he does have those cutters. He does have those changes of pace. He has been a little bit hittable in T20 cricket over the last little while. Interesting to see. Hardik Pandya doesn't need a second invitation to target anyone. Really, in T20 cricket, he goes just back to this and just nudges a single. Certainly, it looks as though they're trying to play out England's premier fast bowlers, and Chris Jordan certainly qualifies as that in T20 cricket. Just a steady diet of singles, and as I say again, only 6 fours and a 6 in the innings thus far. So it could be one of those totals that England make a bit of a mockery of.
Yeah, you have to be so careful saying these things. I'd say you do. I'll wait and just hold the thought for a second.
I did say could. Short ball from Jordan. He's not lightning quick, but he does get some life out of this surface, which has had bounce for the fast bowlers. Shreyas Iyer tried to jump and cut over backward point, is beaten by the pace and bounce of the delivery through to the keeper. There is no run. That was a bit quicker from Jordan. There is
you can't place too much stock in it, but that declining first innings average score might tell something of a story.
Yeah.
The only thing my friends at Crickmetric don't give in their stats, which calculate that, which is really interesting the way they do it, but they don't tell you how many games it's based on. I even got hold of them in New York and I said, hey guys, look, if you give me this one extra stat, I'll talk about it all the time.
Back of a length, and Shreyas runs it down to Rashid. Definitely 1, might be 2. There'll only be a single. It's not a particularly long boundary. 5 singles off the over from Chris Jordan. Interestingly, no slower balls in that over, just all hard lengths and full pace. India 63 for 4 off 13. I can tell you, it's not very many. They played sort of 1/2 of a domestics season at this ground since it was rebuilt. So take all of those. Interesting though they are, with a giant pinch of salt.
Nestlers.
Brian Barish says the law firm of Knackle, Nestlers and Tony. Mezzy Jez has missed the GPL by 10 seconds. He had from 2.23 to 2.83. Breens 001 says, given Virat Kohli has failed again, how many more failures will be forgiven before someone has the nerve to tap him? Muttley's going to work. Warren's loving Tony's name pronouncing. Which is quality guesswork, he says. Chris Drew says, all we are saying is give Nestlers a chance. Warren says, poor cap management by Morgan. And Harriet Atkinson thought she was listening to another test match and England were batting. Easily confused.
Wood continues. He's going to bowl out. He's in short delivery. Shreyas Iyer tries to ramp him down to third man or over the keeper's head and misses, done by the pace. 148 kilometres an hour from Mark Wood. Bowled brilliantly today.
Again, no run. Look at the lift that got. He was looking to try and potentially ramp that, wasn't he? And it was too quick to ramp and too far and just too wide. I mean, it was very well directed. But what the pitch is giving him is that extra bit of lift. If it was a dead pitch, that would have come onto the bat slower, and that's the sort of shot you would have been able to ramp, but it was just past him before he was able to sort of get himself set, wasn't it?
Definitely some zip in this wicket at the Modi Dome. Fuller delivery. Shreyas does go after it, and with that little bit of extra pace in the wicket, even the edge flies. Sam Curran tries to come around from third man. He didn't have that far to travel, got half a hand to it, squirts down to the third man boundary for just the 7th 4 of the innings. You can see that as soon as Wood pitched it up, Shreyas Iyer was like, right, I've got to go at this. He went at it probably a little bit too hard. The bat turned in his hands, leading edge down to the boundary for Shreyas Iyer. 38 off 29. The only thing really approaching a recognisable T20 innings from any of India's batters thus far.
Yeah, he's been holding it together, really, hasn't he?
Rishabh Pant 21 off 23. Nobody else thus far past 4. Short delivery and run down by Ayer. Times that one nicely. And straight to Sam Curran it goes at third man. They come through for the single.
Only past 20 once, I think, in these limited over series in Australia. So he's doing well. Doing well to hold things together here for India.
Yeah, Shreyas Iyer was targeted by the short ball in that series. A fantastic player of spin. And yes, his scores are 2, 38 and 19 in the 3 one-day internationals, and then 12 not out and 12 not out and naught, in fact, in the 2 T20s he played before getting injured. It was a bit of a surprise that he retained his place ahead of, say, Surya Kumar Yadav, who's been superb for the Mumbai Indians in the IPL over the last several seasons. He's yet to debut. Mark Wood yelling at one of his fielders on the leg side as Hardik Pandya faces up. There's a slip in place, a wideish slip for Hardik as Wood comes in, 4th ball of the over. Short, and another batter trying to run the ball down backward of square and being done by the pace. This one skidded through after a few of lifted. Hardik beat.
It looked like he might have held that one back. I'd like to see the speed gun on that one.
I think I saw
could have been deceptive.
I think I saw 148 kilometres an hour, so I think it just kept a little bit low. Hardik on 3 off 8. There is no run off that last delivery. Another smile as though to say, I got beaten, so what? From Hardik Pandya. Does have a role to play with the ball, Hardik, now that he's fit again. India going in with he, Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Shardul Thakur as their seamers and 3 spinners. Wood into Hardik, who does make contact with this and times it nicely through the offside. There should only be 2 as the man from extra cover comes around the deep extra cover fielder. They do indeed come through for 2. 1 ball left of Wood's spell, 1 for 19 off 3.5. Brilliant from England's probably fastest bowler. Still that wideish slip in place, a backward point, a mid off, a mid wicket. Are the men in the circle. In fact, the mid wicket has gone to going into the offside. I think that's Morgan himself going into cover, a shortish cover. So presumably Wood will be looking to bowl this into the body of Hardik Pandya with those men on the leg side. A lovely shot from Hardik. He goes, it went wide of off stump. In fact, did Wood the double bluff or the single bluff? Apologies, Andy Ward. Hardik runs it wide of the man at gully down to third man. Takes a single. 8 runs off the over from Mark Wood, but a superb spell. 1 for 20 off his 4 has troubled everyone. Hardik Pandya on 6 off 10. Shreyas Iyer 39 off 30 after 14 overs. India 71 for 4.
Warong has joined us from Dakar, is wondering about the temperature, whether it's going to reach 35 Celsius. Warren's breakfast synced and caffeinated. Adrian Lowe says belly size and gap size not a problem around here with the size of my belly. Neymar Butlins is wondering whether they've gone to Brazil to surgically bulk up below the waist. Bairstow needs extra padding between bat and inside leg. Ben Cash says, can India's spin trio defend whatever modest total that India look like making? That SMAT final comes to mind where TN won it with 4 spinners on the same ground.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there's been a little bit talk of, in very limited evidence we have from domestic cricket, of the dew affecting the spinners in the latter stages, but as I say, very, very limited evidence. Change of bowling as Jordan is saved for the death, and back comes this man, who I was a little bit surprising. I wasn't expecting him to bowl another over, but here he is. I'll jingle him up after this delivery. He's outside off stump, and Hardik pushes to Morgan at cover. The 2 caps stay on this time. There is no run off the bowling of this man.
Ben? Ben Stokes.
Did dismiss Rishabh Pant off the last ball of his second over. Did Ben Stokes, as he's in to bowl to Hardik Pandya. Possibly a slower ball, just run his fingers over it, and Hardik just run it down to third man, and they take single down to Adil Rashid, 1 for 14 off his 2.2 overs. We're seeing lots of replays of the remarkable reverse ramp that Rishabh Pant played off Jofra Archer to, as we thought, get his innings going and India's, but proved a false dawn.
His balance is extraordinary. You could see that. He was like dancing backwards, sort of tiptoeing backwards, wasn't he?
Just let the ball hit the wood.
Yeah, just got the bat in position and let the pace do the work. I mean, he's had trouble with his balance when hitting sixes in the past, but he's a different beast these days, Rishabh Pant, although today was not him at his free-flowing best. A slow ball and a full delivery, almost a Yorker from Stoke. Shreyas Iyer drives, probably would have been a single anyway to Archer, who misfielded slightly. They come through for that 1-2 mid-off. It hasn't been there's only been the one boundary in recent times. Precious few boundaries, only 7 and 4s and 1 6. Yes, there's only been one boundary in the last 4 overs.
Yeah.
As Stokes is in, slow ball outside off stump, and Hardik Pandya says fie to all that. It was like an incredible shot from Hardik Pandya, slow ball which he picked up so early. Cool guys don't look at explosions, didn't bother looking to see where the ball had gone because he knew it was sailing into the crowd over long off for 6.
Oh, I say, chap, give me any lip.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Ben Stokes was guilty of just trying something a bit too complicated there. I mean, it seems to be line and length has been doing the job quite nicely.
Well, he's going for the wide Yorker with a slow ball, but he missed his length, and Hardik Pandya, as I said, if you miss your length slightly, if you give him that hittable delivery, boy will he hit it. That's a fabulous shot from Hardik, one of the most punishing death hitters in the game. Oh, and he's accidentally ramped Ben Stokes for 4 over the non-existent slip cordon. It was a short delivery at full pace. Stokes a bit angry. Hardik trying to get out of the way, I think, but accidentally got the middle of the bat on it, and it screamed down to third man for 4. Some player that you can middle Ben Stokes over the non-existent slip cordon without even looking at the ball.
He didn't know anything about it, did he? Periscope was up. Some days they just fly to third man, don't they? Not on that occasion.
I think he meant that.
I don't think so. I think he was initially thinking about it. I think he was initially thinking about it, but then was definitely trying to get out of the way. Anyway, it's 4 runs. Last ball of Stokes is over. Last ball of my spell, the most expensive of the innings thus far, and there is no run. Good delivery, full delivery, blocked by Hardik. Back to the bowler. There is no run. 12 runs off the over. The most expensive for India and England thus far, but they are plodding along there. 83 for 4 with 5 overs left of the innings. To take you through the last 5 overs, we'll have Bear will replace me and he'll do some summarising. Hendo will do some social media, and Tony will take you through on ball by ball.
I will indeed. Thank you, Knuckle. I'll let Hendo dive straight in to try and do some catching up on the social front.
Well, you have to tell me where you got up to be honest.
I have.
Oh, Jay Grover. We've had Jay Grover, have we? Okay, sorry, I thought that was for the previous one. Brian Barris says, since Nestle's likes to know what I have for lunch when our schedules coexist, today it's tomato and pepper jack cheese soup.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Nick Martin, on a cricketing theme, says, I'm wondering if there's a particular reason for Adil not being included in the test side. I know he's had shoulder issues, but he looks good to me, as much as I rate best for the future. Rash could have been a game changer. Well, yeah, I think it is just the wear and tear on that shoulder. I think he just doesn't feel that he can last a series. Mind you, just having him in for one game might help.
Well, we do have a change of bowling at the Reliance end. It's going to be Jofra Archer back into the attack for England. If we're ready to jingle him up.
Break your heart, hotter than lava, cooler than Bogart. In your face, at your stumps, on your toes, on your mum.
He's in, right arm over to the right-handed Shreyas Iyer, who works him beautifully through mid-wicket. That's going to go all the way for 4 runs.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
I went under
early, of course. Did Jofra? Sorry, Bear.
I went under 132 and a half for the Indian innings.
132 and a half? Well, I think they're going to get more than that.
Yeah, well, it depends if these two crack on or we get a wicket. If we get a wicket, there's a chance it'll keep under.
The great
some
old
good players to
mantra.
come in, though.
Archer's going to be in again to Shreyas Iyer, wide of his off stump. It's steered.
Beautiful.
Past backward point, and it's going to beat third man as well, and it's going to be a second consecutive 4 as India accelerate, and Archer looks a little crestfallen.
And those two shots are just beautiful timing and placement, weren't they? He didn't try to hit them too hard at all. He's just guided that one square enough that the third man can't get around.
Yeah, no, he just angled the bat, knew precisely where the field was, used the pace on the ball, and away it went. 48 he is, off 33 deliveries. Strike rate just a shade under 146, 7 fours, and 91 for 4 are India. They're putting some runs on the board, these two, though that was just dropped down to short third man. The throw came in, they set off for a run. Umpire Menon, I think, is asking for a review. I thought he was safely home.
He was safely home, it was ridiculous. Why are they going upstairs?
I don't know.
They need to get the cement advert in, don't they? Warren says about...
They're set in their ways like that.
Says about two-hatted Morgan. If he dives for a stop, both caps come off and come into contact with the ball. Is that 10 runs?
No. If both do, that's
very good point. I think that. I like that. I like that question.
Is it 5 runs per obstructing item, as it were? Well, there's a surprise. It's not out, but we feel we know a bit more about cement as a result. So
is it cement? It's not PTM.
No, I think it's cement for this one, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I've got to be honest. I was kind of thinking about the state of the game and not concentrating on that on the advertiser in that case.
Oh, you got to do that.
Last 1.3 overs, 20 runs. They've been expensive. As India fight back, and this one's steered down to deep backward point. Mark Wood runs around from third man, lets the throw come in. They just take a single. There have been 9 runs from this 4 balls so far for Jofra. Just the 1 dot ball, and somehow, where Mark Wood had been unerringly accurate, Jofra, after a great start, has just offered a little bit more for the batsman to work with. I think 44 off 34. This partnership between these two, they're doing a fine job. With 2 balls left of the 16th over.
I seem to remember Shreyas Iyer being very similar in the IPL. He always hit the sixes, but found the gaps.
That one is through Hardik, though. It's a little fish in a fence, and it's taken comfortably enough behind the stumps, and there is no run on this occasion.
Well, actually, Archer was bowling really well to Pant, wasn't he? He bowled 3 dot balls to him in the second over, where he really cramped him for room on leg stump, and then he played that freak shot, and Archer just lost a little bit of confidence, pitched up a little bit more full, got clipped for 4. He's come back, after a little bit of a break, and 2 lovely shots.
Well, let's see what he's got here. Better ball. That one nips in to Hardik, who's a little bit squared up. It squirts away into the offside. Hardik does not run. And it's a good finish, really, from what had been a testing over for Jofra Archer. 1 for 20 for him off his 3. 92 for 4. India after 16. Hendo.
Farong says, my little puzzle related to temperature in Dhaka today. 35 degrees equals 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So will India make 95?
Yes.
No, they're already on 92. They will make 95 and go past it quite easily. Jay says, I wish I was overweight as Johnny Bairstow. Sadly, I reckon we weigh the same, but mine bypasses muscles and focuses on my horrible beer cut, which looms and obscures a part of Jay's anatomy that I don't really want to talk about. Alexia of Azal says, really impressed by this 1.5 hour long... What's this? I have no idea what that's all about. I'll come back to that. Rogan decisions and Rogan team selection? I don't know. No, Alexia, tell me what you're talking about, or have you just misspelt wrong? I don't know. Message says, so I'm assuming from looking at the crowd that COVID no longer exists in India. Well, apparently they're just locking down in Nagpur, are they not? I read this morning.
Well, yes. What do we have there? About 80,000 out of the 110 that could squeeze in. Jordan going to carry on here. He's going to replace rather Ben Stokes. We'll jingle him up if we can. That one is wide of off stump and driven away down to deep cover. It's only a single. 93 for 4. The run rate hovering a shade under 6, but most importantly, it is 50 up for Shreyas Iyer of 36 balls, and he's done a superb job.
I'm going to try and get his jingle in.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry, more England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the windy team.
Here comes Jordan again, right arm over, flicked wristily down to deep mid wicket. There will just be a single, actually really more sort of
It's long on, mate.
Yeah, long on. I was going to say it's not far enough round to be mid wicket.
No way.
It will be a single, 94 for 4. 50 up.
Not been aware of Shreyas Iyer really going after the bowling in this game, have you? I mean, 50 off 36, and I think he's batted beautifully, actually.
No, but
he has.
That was my point. I think we saw this in the IPL last year. He's not necessarily a big six hitter, but he does exactly that. He times the ball really sweetly. The boundaries are quite short, and he does find the gaps. Even when the fielders are out in the boundary, and he gets those fours, which keeps him ticking along.
Jordan in full. Bat dropped on it. They will jog. Comfortable enough single. Captain Owen Morgan does the fielding. 95 for 4. I think England would be more than happy if the run rate's under 6 when they go out to bat.
The run rate's under 6.
If it's under 6, A, I'd have won some money, and B, England would be well happy. I think.
Well, 6 and over is only 120, so I think they're going to get more than that.
They should do. I say these two are settling a little bit, and a wicket might change the complexion of that.
There are only 21 balls left.
Well, there are 95 for 4. That's correct. 16 and a half overs we've had. This one is lofted high over down 2 deep extra, and Dawid Malan. We haven't spoken much about Dawid Malan. He's patrolling down there.
Number 1 T20 batsman in the world, isn't he?
It will just be a single. Yes, he is the number 1 T20 man of Yorkshire, of course, Dawid.
Well, you say that through gritted teeth, don't you?
I do sometimes. It's interesting how he and Morgan are such an extraordinarily productive partnership still, though, when they bat together. Providing he remembers to run off the last ball of any T20s he plays in. I wonder if he's got himself a Yorkshire accent now.
I doubt it.
But that one is through the batsman and taken by Joss Butler behind the stumps. That was a terrific delivery. Shreyas Iyer kind of played all round that, did nip back at him. It was a nip backer from Jordan.
I think he got in 2 minds about that one. I wasn't quite sure whether he
did nip back that much.
It did nip back a little bit, but I don't think he knew whether he wanted to work that into the onside or play it out on the offside. It was a strange shot, and he seemed to get caught in sort of midstream, really.
Perhaps a little bit more than he was thinking as well. It was the shot of a batsman who was in about 3 or 4 minds as to what he thought he might do with it, and the ball was past him. He steps back. He carves this. He carves it high. He carves it handsome. And it's gone all the way over deep backward point for one of these. What a shot.
Not a lot you can do about that, really.
No, pretty good shot.
Quite magnificent.
It's a shame. It'd been a good over up until that point.
Yep.
It was a little bit of width, but he made more of it, didn't he? That was the thing. He really did risk going well outside his leg stump to give himself room to play that. Tweets. Rashid doesn't get into the test team solely because of the Bears' sustained hate campaign, says Jay Grover. It's a Paytm replay, according to Warren. Lester says,
thank you.
Makes you wonder. I don't know what you're wondering about. I'm not sure 15 masks are quite sufficient for 55,000 people, says Messi Jez. And Jay Grover says, after Tony's lost cement joke, I feel absolved from all guilt about making a snarky reference. I'm retracing my tracks out of the twatwood. Whatever that's all about, Have you got YouTube?
Jay was actually being fairly complimentary about some of our articles in a somewhat backhanded way, as this one is played down into the ground by Hardik Pandya, and there is no run. 102 for 4. India, we've had 1 ball of this 17th over. We're having another look at Shreyas Iyer. What a shot! What?
Yeah, it's not a massive boundary, but it's brilliantly timed, isn't it?
Yes, it was. 67 metres, so say not one of the longest, but it was all in the footwork, the wrist work. Appreciative nod from Chris Jordan, who's in again, and this one's smashed straight down Jordan's throat, and Hardik has gone, and Jofra Archer has his man, and that wicket has come for England just at the right time too.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Work to do there. You'd expect him to take that catch, but it seemed to dip on him a little bit, and bucket hands that he has. Chris Jordan down by his ankle said thank you very much, and Hardik Pandya is on his way for 19.
Yeah.
102 for 5.
Oh, that's the wicket. Well, we could have done with getting Shreyas Iyer, but getting one of these two out, it's never easy to come in with, what now, 12, 14, 16 balls left. You got to go straight for the off. This is where things can either go one or two ways, isn't it? Shreyas Iyer can connect a few and get some sixes. I still reckon that 140 is probably under par. They got themselves in a bit of trouble by losing all those early wickets, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's actually a good wicket to get. I mean, Pandya can be incredibly destructive in the last 2 overs. I mean, he's a man who can hit big sixes, and when he gets in the mood, he really goes for it. I thought he'd hit that really hard, and it was going to be a hard catch for Jordan. But looking at the replay, just something about the shot, it just faded a little bit. The ball didn't quite hit the middle as I'd thought. There was plenty of power in it, but didn't quite have the timing.
It's going to be Shardul Thakur.
It sounds like this.
Come to the crease, and here he is.
Short and sweet.
Well, we've seen what Thakur can do, haven't we? In Test cricket, he can hit the ball a long way and very hard, and times it quite sweetly too.
He can. Right-handed batsman, right arm, fast, medium. Bowler, 102 for 5. India. He's going to face Jofra Archer, and he pulls him, does Thakur, and he might have pulled him straight down Dawid Malan's throat. He has, and he's gone. First ball, lived by the sword on this occasion, dying by it. Archer has another wicket.
On your bike, mate.
And Yorkshire's finest, hands up, Aussie style, does the rest down at deep square leg, and Thakur, whose notes I was trying to find, I might as well not have bothered, because he's only had a 1-ball sojourn at the crease. Hendo, what have you got?
I've got some tweets. Anindo says, other than the brilliance of Shreya, I forgot his name now. Shreyas Iyer. This has been a shit show, and that's being kind.
Archer's on a hat-trick, of course, by the way.
Oh, he is indeed, isn't he? And we've had hat-tricks recently, haven't we? In the form of Dhananjaya in the T20 in the West Indies. So, maybe we'll get another one.
India's still under 6, by the way, Bear. I just point that out to you.
What, the run rate?
Yeah.
I know. I'm happy. I need under 132.5, remember, and you'll poo me.
Well, you as soon as I said it, you completely dissed the very thought that I might have been right. We'll see what happens. Archer in. That's an attempted ramp by Sundar, but the half-hearted shout. No, it's actually given as a wide by the umpire, who I shall refer to simply, I think, to save everybody's time, as KN.
He did get hold of that quite well, Pandya, but I mean, it was a good catch. It was going.
Well, he got Archer. If you'd want anyone on the end of that catch, it would be
Chris Jordan,
wouldn't it? I mean, he's a brilliant fielder anywhere, really.
It just dipped a bit on him. Sorry, Hendo, go on.
Yeah, that's all right. After this ball.
Well, it's Archer again. So a no ball, a naught and a wide from the last ball. This one, Sundar, who is the new batsman, who has steered down to third man, will get himself off the mark with a single. Back onto strike.
Jay Grover wants to know why I fear his manly accoutrements. I don't really, it's just the thought of it. Venkatesh says, a bit too soon on the run-out decision for me. Why not see more angles, even if it looks obvious? Hashtag too soon. Nestor says, is this another duff T20 because the bear is on? Almost certainly.
Yeah.
And now Jay Grover says, Tony, now I sympathise with your rage regarding Hendo's sub-editing. Did you talk about your manly accoutrements as well? No. You guys just don't know when to shut up, do you?
Why would I talk about mine? I keep mine very much to myself, thank you very much. As this one is a slower ball, and Shreyas Iyer, goodness me, he swung everything at that, and he was still swinging as the ball was bobbling along the ground to Jofra Archer. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's I think it was a knuckleball, wasn't it, there?
No, it was out of the back of the hand. He
back of the
bent
hand,
that way instead of that way, and it was just inside the tram line. Very good ball.
Well, you might as well have sent Shreyas Iyer for a skyhook or a pot of elbow grease, because to be honest, he was completely fooled by that.
He was indeed.
Excellent piece of bowling from Jofra Archer. 2 wickets so far this over. That one's driven though. Should be. Is there a man down there at long on? Yes, there is. That's Ben Stokes, who nearly swings himself off his feet getting the throw in, but it means there's only a single. 105 for 6, 18 overs completed. Shreyas Iyer 58 off 41. Washington Sundar, well, we know he can also be extremely destructive when the mood takes him. He is on one from the one ball he's faced. Hendo.
To keep the bear happy, all fielding positions to be renamed to include mid-wicket. Long and around a bit mid-wicket is the latest one. How are you following, says Matt, to Lazy Fred? Is that the Fred that we know? Probably not, although he is lazy. I'm listening via Gorilla Cricket. Sky Cricket, says Fred 1971. Still annoyed though, it should be on Channel 4. Similar to PSL, says Farong, bring your mask, nasal, mouth covering, and that's about it. Why go to the trouble of wearing it appropriately? Good point. Dr. Dan's gout is a little bit better, which you'll all be glad to hear. Greetings from Japan, says Nico. Ikna si Sanshi, he says, or she says. I'm not sure. There. Still a bit tender though, says Dr. Dan. Determined to do a few sketches. People have been missing his sketches due to the gout.
Cherry juice. You want tart cherry juice?
Are you a fellow gout sufferer then?
I am from time to time, although having not had a drink since New Year's Eve, it's been mercifully at bay. But cherry juice is the secret, Dr. Dan. Drink loads of it.
Ravi Nair says he's glad to have Dr. Dan back, and I'm sure that goes for a lot of people out there.
It's the blonde Sam Curran, super extra blonde. Blonde with extra blonde highlights, and this one is steered but straight to mid-off.
He sounds a bit like this.
Shreyas Iyer from the Adani end.
Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. He's not from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
105 for 6. Around the wicket comes Curran, nicely worked off his hit by Shreyas Iyer. That is to mid-wicket, and they will take 2, I think they took there.
That was the shot that we won the World Cup one. Except for Guppy hit it a bit harder. He couldn't get back for 2.
I was fascinated by Curran's hair. Number 8.
How blonde does he need to be? I mean, I always thought he was blonde enough, to be honest.
Well, that's been given a real sort of bit of, retouching.
Where's he got that done though? Has he got that done? Who's done it? Maybe has he got a partner who did it for him, or did he? I mean, he couldn't have gone out to the barbers, could he?
Who is that guy sitting next to Ganguly?
This one's pulled. It was short. We said they'd target Curran. They've certainly smacked that away for 4 runs. Shreyas Iyer 64.
Well, you always need a batsman to do one batsman to do something, but actually he's gone beyond the Call of Duty really here, Shreyas. I think he's got a large percentage of the runs.
It was a short ball from Curran though. I don't think he's quick enough to get away with a ball like that. And Shreyas Iyer just said thank you very much. He seemed to have an age in which to play that shot though. Curran in again. Fuller whipped beautifully wristily away.
Not really.
Just a single though this time.
I thought it was a miss-hit to be Tony. I thought it was a miss-hit.
Well, it didn't. Well, exactly. It didn't go anywhere. Just dribbled away down to mid-wicket.
Exactly, because he miss-hit it.
Single.
But hey, who's the guy sitting next to Sourav Ganguly?
I've no idea.
Strange.
On the left or on the right?
The one on the left.
The one on the
with
left.
The big glasses.
The gentleman with the glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
You mean the one on his left or the one on the left?
The one on the left as we look at it, I think you mean, don't you?
Yeah, the one in the kind of Adidas top.
But either way, we don't know. He's in an Adidas top, a fine pair of spectacles, very neatly coiffured haircut, but we have no clue who he is. So I'm sure Knack will message us soon to let us know he's the first cousin of a friend of the India team's barber or something.
Well,
112 for 6.
And I do wonder, he's just an odd-looking man. That's all.
That's a very harsh judgment there.
Well, you know,
odd. What makes an odd-looking man? There's no such thing as normal. Certainly not in my house.
I guess you could, Leonardo da Vinci and all that. Symmetry.
Well, okay. Curran again, that determined, chucky look about his face. It's a full toss. And I'm not quite sure he's managed to put that. He has whooped that down too long on, actually. I think he was looking to put it rather squarer with Shreyas. He gets in, was Washington Sundar. Single for Shreyas Iyer.
He was trying to put that through point, I think, or extra cover.
He certainly didn't get it where he wanted it to go.
No,
113 for 6. The run rate there, as we approach the final over, is on exactly 6. So I do suspect it will go above that. Be interesting to see by how much.
Well, it might not do. They might get 5 in the last over, and it might be 5.99.
Well, there we go. We should have our own side bet.
Whichever way.
Because you poo-pooed the very thought that it would be 6 or under when I mentioned it.
Well,
it was me who poo-pooed that.
Absolutely. Well, one of you absolutely.
I just need it to be under 132.5. That's all I'm worried about. I've got 19 runs to play with 7 balls left.
Come on, Sam Curran, what have you got? We need to stay under 6 and over, please. That's probably not the way to do it, as this one is. Oh, well, there is a man down at deep mid-wickets. Ristily away down there. Was that Morgan, I believe it was. And it will just be a single. 114 for 6. 19 overs completed. That run rate is bang on 6. Shreyas Iyer, 66. Washington Sundar, 2 from 2. Hendo.
Yeah, and Indo has put out a poll saying England will win this T20 in. This is negative thinking from the Indians. 8 overs, 10 overs, or 12 overs. I'll go
for reverse psychology.
12 overs. I've added my vote to that. Nessa says I've had no drink since no drink since New Year's Eve. Tony, I'm coming up for a year without one in 2 days' time. Me too.
Well, it feels like a year. What it's worth.
Well, maybe that's true. Joe Gober says, mint that Dr. Dan is back. How many gorillas are now teetotal? This is not what I signed up for.
I'm not teetotal.
Warren says, can we get Sam Curran to dye his hair black? Oh, that would be scary, wouldn't it? It'd be something like something out of the Bates Motel, wouldn't he?
Chucky, the ventriloquist dummy, did have dark hair, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Even more scarily Chucky-like.
Now, Alaska Steve has got some medical helps or aids for gout. Colchini. Colcrese is description anti-inflammatory. It can treat and prevent gout attacks. So there we go. Anyone out there suffering with gout?
Good.
And of course, our listenership is so young that there's almost nobody out there with gout. Venkatesh says, Jay Shah, BCCI secretary. It's Amit Shah's son. That is the man sitting next to.
Chris Jordan, anyway. Sorry, Hendo. Just to let you know, is going to the man charged with keeping that run rate down off the last over. This is whipped by Shreyas Iyer down to deep mid wicket. Just a single. 115 for 6. 5 balls left unless there's anything untoward in the next 5.
Can't run rate on 6.
Ooh. John Perry says, what's the Bannerman equivalent for T20? Is Iyer anywhere near it? Sorry for using you as my personal.
Oh, that's not a bad question, actually.
Well,
I don't know the answer.
Well, currently he's well over 50%. 50%. If he was at 50%, they'd be on
67 out of 115 so far, and he's a chance to increase that percentage because he's one of the men at the crease, isn't he?
Well, Jane Grover says that Chucky were ginger.
Oh Lord.
Well, maybe that's why.
Maybe we could just borrow some of Ben Stokes' hair or whatever.
You can't really be scared of a ginger, can you?
Apparently, banner money counts if the whole team's out.
Yes, good point. Although that would be, it would still make an interesting statistic. You wouldn't be able to call it the Bannerman, but you could call it something else.
Jofra Archie's coming right arm around the wicket to the left-hander. Slower ball to Washington Sundar. Oh, it's given us a wide. Jordan, I think, is not happy with that. And I have to say, I'd like to see it again. That looked harsh to me. It looked to me like Sundar stepped well outside the line.
Well, he did, but it still went down leg side and it missed the leg stump. So generally they're giving us wides, which is a bit unfortunate.
Was that our new friend KN? In which case, I'm not impressed. But we shall see.
He's got 57.7.
The left-handed
Sundar at the moment.
Around the wicket comes Jordan. Good full ball. And, just pushed away down to mid-on. They will just get another single. 117 for 6. We have 4 balls left. I'm going to be even more cross if that wide is what tips India over 6.
Yep.
I will consider myself robbed if that is to be what transpires. I've got to say 117 for 6. There's got to be 4 balls left. We've had Jordan said, it's a slower ball, and that is brilliantly away, but straight down again to Dawid Malan. Chris Jordan has done the job one more time. Was that taken as a catch? Or was it just?
Yeah, it was.
No, of course it was. Yeah, it was straight down his neck.
It was. Good catch.
Well, it wasn't. It was actually a pretty good catch.
Yeah, he ran around the boundary and dived.
It was a slow ball bouncer, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And he lofted it, and Dawid Malan actually had to take it diving to his right. did the agile Dawid, who's enjoying himself massively.
He looked like he'd almost overrun it. It looks like his hands were back there instead of in front of him. He looked like he'd gone around a little bit far. But yes, let's send him off with a jingle.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. Your history,
Yeah, it has pleased me that. Well, pleased me or surprised me. I thought Anindo was a very level-headed guy, but since we've been playing India, he's very much one of us. Isn't
Oh,
he?
no,
he
he's
certainly
wears his
lays into
colours,
his own
doesn't he?
team when they're doing shit.
Oh,
and he's quite happy to lay it on when they're doing well. I like it. It's good style.
Yeah, all that intellectual writery stuff goes
Exactly,
flying right
gets
out the window.
right out
let me
the
tell
window.
you.
Love it.
117 for 7. Axar Patel, what a series he had in the tests, although everyone will say that doesn't really count for much now. And it's pulled by Axar Patel. There is a man down there, though, at deep square leg, and they will just get 2.
If that goes upstairs, I'm going to throw my mic through the window.
Well, we'll see. No, it's not going upstairs.
Name of Battle says, I'm a bit busy right now, so I'm going to combine 3 tweets into one. I haven't had a drink since 95.
Ooh, that's a bit long.
That's a while. Can't get the game on the telly in LA. And then he says something about manly accoutrements, which I'm not going to read out. I refuse to.
Is that because it's just extraordinarily rude? This one, it's up in the air. Is there going to be managed to carve it actually for 4 over deep backward point? Chris Jordan looks disconsolate. I probably will end up not being too happy myself, but it is 4 runs.
Yeah, it was a miss hit. Top edge went over the ring.
Well, I was going to say, with 4 balls to go, there will be one more 4. And then when Shreyas Iyer hit that down the throat of Dawid Malan, I thought maybe not. But, you only just have to get a little bit lucky, don't you? And that was lucky. He was trying to pull that over mid-wicket, and it's gone flying up over third man.
Well, I was right, though. It's going to be under 132 and a half. If they get 6, there needs to be a few no balls and some 6s hit for me to lose.
It means they passed 6, but not by much.
Yes, but they did.
Not by much. Yes, but they did. A miss, as they say,
is
as good as a mile. Fair enough. 123 for 7. There should be just the 1 ball left. It's bowled by Chris Jordan, and it's carved, but it's carved straight to mid-off, and I don't think they'll get a run. They won't.
Yes, they did. They got a run. Yeah.
They did take a single. Yes, they did. It was a combination of Jofra Archer and Owen Morgan with his 2 caps. But England will think they've done a good job there. 124 for 7, 20 overs completed. Axar Patel not out on 7. Washington Sundar 3, admittedly only off 3 balls that he faced. Owen Morgan's already going through his mental preparation at the crease, but without a bat in his hand. He'll be happy as England captain. England set off really like a bullet to gate, wickets falling from the off, but a terrific effort by Shreyas Iyer pulled things back a little bit for India as he made 67 off 48. A little bit of help from Rishabh Pant and from Hardik Pandya, but other than that, gentlemen, not a lot.
Not a lot at all.
I can't think there have been too many lower scores made by India against England in a full 2020. It'll just be interesting to check that one out. Let me get through some final tweets for that innings. Aaron Finch made 172 out of 229 for 2 for Australia against Zimbabwe in 2019. That's 75.1% of the runs. Extraordinary, that really is. I don't remember that at all. For an all-out team, Kane Williamson made 42 out of 60 for New Zealand against Sri Lanka in 2014, and that's 70% of the runs. I can't remember New Zealand being bowled out for 60 by Sri Lanka, although that was 2014, probably just before Guerrilla cricket started. Warren says, not scared of a ginger, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Hello, young Johnny Bairstow. Yeah, I'm not really scared of Johnny. Great catch by Milan, says Venkatesh. Thank you, Gorillas. That's a fantastic statistical service. That was Messi Jez, rather than... And he is a gorilla, isn't he, these days?
Yep.
An actual gorilla, as opposed to a gorilla who contributes from afar in a listening sense. Jeff Perkins says, looks like the highest contribution once again is Finch's 172. Harari, he says, in 2018. So a bit of a disagreement over which year that was. Dawid lost the top of his finger, says Warren. Is that true? I don't know. Jay Grover, teetotal, non-smoking mugwumps. Who can't say... Go back to it. Teetotal, non-smoking mugwumps who can't say penis and know nothing about horror cinema. I'm not just angry, I'm just disappointed. Sorry, Jay.
I'm taking myself out of all of those. I drink, I smoke, I'm quite happy to talk about penises and, whatever else you said there.
Okay, Jersey Jingler says the Bears dived or dove, or as past tense of to dive. Either one is grammatically correct, but dived is more English and dove or dove is used more in America. Yeah, Americans. I know there are Americans out there, but I just started to watch. I just started to watch on Sky Atlantic Your Honor, the new series with Bryan Cranston as this judge. And every time Your Honor comes up and it says Honor, Honor.
Oh,
it just drives me to distraction.
Me too.
And I have to leap around and jump about and say terrible things about Americans. No surprise or shame in not being able to remember T20 achievements at Hendo, all melded into one after a week. That's absolutely true. And Fraser Middleton says, just put it through my T20 algorithm program, also known as my fingers and counting aloud, and spat it out a relatively whopping 16.5. I don't know what you're talking about there. 16.5 inches. I thought he was talking about the Bannerman, but I'm not sure that he is. He may be talking something more about something that Joe Grover wants to discuss. Matt, getting angrier with ineptitude every day, says, may not be afraid of Johnny B, but would you want to be punched by Stokesy? Well, no, I don't think I'd put myself up to be punched by Stokesy, or even...
not even for charity.
Something that might produce that outcome. Suman Nag says, happy Friday, chaps. Seems like beer will take... It's pretty good in England tonight. This will be a cakewalk of a chase. Or will it? Will it? You'll have to see. Have we got something to play for a few minutes?
Yeah, we're going to play our friend Lalchand Rajput talking about, with Anindo, his time with Afghanistan and Zimbabwe. I don't know, how long is the innings break in this game?
Not long.
10 minutes.
Okay.
So keep an eye on it, Bear. Don't go far.
Oh, no, it won't go far. We'll be back before you know it. So, enjoy.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Guerrilla Cricket.
Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket, and with me today we have someone very special. He played Test cricket for India. He opened for India, had a highest score of 61, but was unfortunate not to get a chance after playing 2 Test matches. At one point in time, it was spoken of in Indian cricket circles that he was the best opener to have come out of Bombay after Sunil Gavaskar, which is saying a lot. But fortunately for world cricket, Lalchand Rajput has had a fantastic second career as a coach. Multiple times coach of various Indian teams, the under-19 teams, India A teams. Very, very memorably, he was head coach of the cricket coach / head coach of the 2007 World T20 winning Indian side, which was MS Dhoni's first series and in fact first match as captain of India. He was head coach of Afghanistan, and at a time when Afghanistan was given ICC membership, thanks to a lot to his efforts. He was head coach of the Mumbai Indians for a while, and finally for the last 2.5 years he's been head coach of Zimbabwe. And through COVID, through difficult times, he's brought Zimbabwe up so that last week we saw a fantastic victory in the UAE from Zimbabwe against his old side, Afghanistan. So welcome to the show, Lalchand Rajput.
My pleasure.
It's great having you. I mean, congratulations on the decisive win last week. It must be tremendously satisfying given that everything that's happened with Zimbabwe cricket in the past 3 years or so with COVID that's been going on. And under you, within that time, with the stops and gaps, Zimbabwe's played, 6 test matches, and you won 2 of them. And what I think is remarkable, before I leave the field to you here, is not the fact that you've won 2 out of 6, But the fact that I think a lot of people don't realize that in the past 30 years, Zimbabwe has only won 3 test matches abroad. And you have won 2 of them in the past 2.5 years. I'm not sure you knew that.
Yeah, I never knew that, to be very honest.
The only victory that Zimbabwe had abroad was against Pakistan in 1998. And that was against a fantastic Pakistan team, but then it was a fantastic Zimbabwe team. So you had a bowling attack which was Heath Streak, Pommy Mangwa, and Henry Olonga. So, that's a bowling attack you can't complain about. I think together with Neil Johnson, they took 19 wickets out of 20. And they beat a team of Wasim Akram, Bakar Yunus, Inzamam, Saeed, Anwar, everybody. But that was 1998. I mean, you're talking about, 23 years ago. And your 2 victories in the past 2 years are the first 2 victories abroad. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, you gave me a good insight because this is the only 3rd time we have won outside Zimbabwe. That's a credit I think goes to the players as well. To be very honest, when I joined, I think I can proudly say that it was because of your article which came in the press that, Zimbabwe should look at a coach like me. And they really obliged that, and I think I was given a 3-year contract. But there were lots of ups and downs, and Zimbabwe cricket was suffering from because they had problem with ICC. The players were having problem with the ZC board. So there were a lot of tough times which I had to go through. But as you know, I don't step back. I said once I have taken up a challenge, I will try and make sure that we try to get those things all together and make sure that cricket comes the better way. I had a few, I would say roadblocks because in between Zimbabwe was, banned by the ICC for 6 months, so we could not play any cricket. Last 1 year, I think last test match we played was in February against Bangladesh, and now we are playing after 1 year. Again, in between COVID, we could not practice for more than 8 to 9 months. So it was really a tough time. But as I said, we got to prepare them. As a coach, I always give them, the motivation thing that, you have chosen up this cricket for what? To make a career. If you want to make a career, you got to do a lot of sacrifices. And I think the players have started, realizing that, and they are doing a lot of sacrifices because now staying in the bubble is not a great idea as well. Because that's another thing which we have to cope up with the players' mindset. Because that's one area where players are not used to sitting in the room all the time. So again, we got to fight against that as well. But overall, if you look at it, I think the players are realizing, and we are trying to play a better cricket, a brand of cricket which Zimbabwe is known for. So hopefully, yes, in the years to come, I think we are getting on the right track. Yes, this was Afghanistan's home match. But I think they will come back very strong because I know their team as well because at the moment I was the coach of both the teams, so I know both the teams. So, so it's good to be in that position. But as I said, again, the players' mindset will decide the outcome of the series because we have won the first test. We have definitely had an edge now, but they will come back strong. So we got to stay focused and make sure that the first time ever we can win a test series outside Zimbabwe.
All the best. You've got your second test coming up in a couple of days. But sticking to the team, because a lot of people, I think, because of what's been happening.
Welcome back to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England's Tour of India 2021. You join us just at the start of the second innings of the first T20 International. England put India into bat and restricted them to 124 for 7 on a pitch that's got a little bit of life for the fast bowlers. But it was a brilliant bowling performance by England. Jofra Archer, the star, with 3 wickets, 3 for 23, but all of England's bowlers chipping in. Even Sam Curran, who was the only wicketless bowler, did very well in his middle overs and then death overs at the couple of overs. Wicket each for Stokes, Jordan, Wood and Adil Rashid, who opened the bowling for the first time ever in international cricket. Shreyas Iyer, the only standout for India, 67 of 48. Stodgy 21s and 19s from Rishabh Pant and Hardik Pandya, and then only one other batter scoring over a runner ball. That was Akshar Patel with 7. Brilliant bowling performance, and starting off the chase is England's opening pair.
Duckworth Lewis loves you. The clouds part for you. Nothing stands in your way when you're a
Roy ain't
Roy.
no loss, 'cause we found someone Sutler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. One S and two T's. Joss Butler.
There's been quite a bit of talk about Jason Roy's weakness against the ball, the left arm spinners and the ball turning away at the start of the innings, and so India have gone for their first over to a man recalled to the T20 side who was devastating during the Test series. Akshar Patel starts on middle and leg and is worked by Roy to Hardik Pandya. Screams in from mid-on, there is no run.
Runs, then it's the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin that will bring him some wicket.
Or the one that slides straight on. Akshar Patel in from the Reliance end to Jason Roy. A little bit short and does skid on. Roy goes deep in his crease and nudges into the onside. Jason Roy's been short of runs since the World Cup. He's averaging 12 in international cricket since then, but fine player we all know. Joss Butler's been magnificent for England in white ball cricket, and indeed for the Rajasthan Royals facing up to Akshar Patel. I'm Nakul M. Pandey taking you through the first 5 overs. I'm joined by Tony Bishop and Nestle Boy. Tony, brilliant from England with the ball.
Yes, they were. It was accuracy, really. Accuracy, variety. I mean, dream start. Wickets fell early. They'll have been very happy, but they've now got to back it up.
Yes, indeed. This one is floated into off stump from Akshar Patel, holding it back a little bit. Butler blocks into the offside, and there is no run. I don't think it was too much of a surprise given the Roy matchup and that Akshar started. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Washington Sundar starts at the other end. Goes more round arm, maybe trying to get this one to hold and turn. It skids on. Butler goes back and punches into the offside. There is no run. England just need 125 to win this first of 5 T20 internationals at the Modi Dome in Ahmedabad. A little bit short. Butler goes back and cuts, but can't beat Virat Kohli at cover, and there is no run. Steady start for India, but England don't need to put the hammer down immediately. Akshar goes a little bit more round arm, a little bit straighter, and it's an easy clip for Butler off the pads. Shikhar Dhawan out there on the mid-wicket boundary does the fielding. They come through for 2-3 runs off Akshar's first over, 2 to Butler, 1 to Roy, and England need a further 122 runs to win at just 6.42 runs and over. Social media.
George and Bob have joined us on Hot Mic, and he says at least a few Americans are listening. Stephen Kelk, Alan Turfmore, George McPherson, Dara Azizi are all joining us on YouTube, along with Hafiz Ahmed, Asher Buddin Shaka, and Fayez Ahmed Mahad. He says England win the match. Well, you'd think so. Xavier Jamadio says, cheers to Gorillas, I'll now be replacing his hot toddy with mead.
Well, it isn't spin at both ends. It is a man who's fit again. The best eyes in men's cricket return to the international scene. Set off lovelyly, if that's a word, by that dark blue
He's bowling
India
to.
kit.
Well, he's not bowling straight away, but he will be bowling to another set of similar eyes.
Yeah, indeed.
All you need is Alex Carey wicket keeping. You'd have a complete eye off.
The gorgeous and often brilliant from the Adani end, Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
He got Tendulkar from North, a better bat than we thought. He got Booby Kumar's eye.
In comes Bhuvi. Roy tries to come down the track and push it through mid-off, squirts away over the offside, manages to evade a fielder just somehow. Shreyas Iyer runs back from point to do the fielding. 2 runs, but 2 streaky runs to Jason Roy off. Bhuvneshwar Kumar hasn't played for India in any format since December 2019 after a run of injuries. Missed most of the IPL with a thigh injury, but he's back. An immaculate seam position of Bhuvi Kumar.
Roy didn't have a clue then.
Nope. He was trying to just punch a single down the ground, and it squirted away through the gap between cover and extra cover. Good from Bhuvi, tight to off stump, challenging Roy on the inside edge. Punched by Roy down to Shardul Thakur at mid-on, and there is no run. great to see Bhuvi back. Lovely bowler.
And a great jingle.
Yeah, and a great jingle. It's all to the good. Akshar Patel also hasn't played a white ball international for a little while for India, a few years. Men back are at third man and long leg. There is a slip in place for Bhuvi Kumar. Roy picks him up over the leg side. There's no one at deep square leg. Link delivery. Roy picking the gap and picking the gap to the tune of 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Down the track, time that one well enough, Tony.
Yep. So right in his sweet spot, really, Jason Roy. A couple of skips down the track, whipped away, and there's no man down there with the fielding restrictions, and 4 runs it was. Lucky probably still to be there though, Jason Roy. So he's got to ride his luck now that he's had it.
Third man has now moved to deep backward square. There's only one man saving one on the onside at mid-on. This is outside off stump from Bhuvneshwar Kumar with that heavy offside field, and Roy pushes unconvincingly really to Hardik Pandya at shortish extra cover, and there is no run. Yeah, Jason Roy, there's a lot of talk about the possible reintegration of Alex Hales, and Jason Roy needs to keep those scores up. It's a tough gig, this
just beginning to seed the idea, aren't they? Even Owen Morgan, just little hints, nothing concrete.
Ashley Giles too. This is also not very well timed from Jason Roy, again coming down the track and trying to, I think, just push a single out through mid-wicket, and again the ball maybe just stopping on him a little bit, and he pushes aerially through the vacant square leg. The man at deep square leg does the fielding. A lucky single, really, bringing Butler onto strike. So we've had one lovely 4 and 3 rather streaky runs in this over from Jason Roy. Did rather just hit the bat rather than him trying to hit it. No chance of a catch. Last ball of the second over, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Right arm over the wicket to Jos Buttler, who punches this off the back foot. Timed nicely, but can't beat the man at cover point, and there is no run. 7 runs off Bhuvi's first over in international cricket since 2019, England, after 2 10 for no loss.
Messi Jez has tweeted in with a graphic of a election in Western Australia where Labour are predicted to win 52 of the 59 seats. That's 88% of the total, which is coincidentally the approval rating of the state premier. And Jay is going to start a Facebook group called Gingers Who Could Give Hendo a Kicking. Please share. Warren says Morgan to Roy, no need to go mad. Have Roy and Bairstow had a pie-off, says Warren. And Leia has tweeted a collection of sci-fi boxes, by the look of it, to Fraser Middleton, who was actually meant if you wanted to see her food containers, but that'll do.
Change of bowling. Akshar Patel, after his first over goes for 3, is replaced, and it's another spinner turning the ball away from the right-hander. Bowling in the power play, it's this man. Obligatory chess mention now.
Knowing me, knowing you, there is nothing we can do. Knowing me, knowing you.
And now hopefully I don't have to mention it for the rest of the series. Deep mid-wicket and long off, 2 men out. Roy tries to pick him up over the onside and gets it very nicely out of the middle indeed. The man at mid-wicket was pretty square. That went over cow. And Roy greets Yuzvendra Chahal with a big booming 6. That'll do nicely, Tony, against a type of spin that you sometimes struggle with early in the innings.
Leant into it, didn't he? Just got his foot forward enough, full swing of the arms, and perfect start for Jason Roy. Not such a perfect start for Yuzvendra Chahal. Let's see what he's got in as a comeback.
Yeah, indeed. Kohli again putting fielders where the ball just went. A man has gone back at long on. Mid-off has come up, and the deep mid-wicket has moved pretty much where that ball went. What will Yuzvendra Chahal come back with? Roy took him apart in the World Cup group game between these two sides. This is fired flat out of the front of the hand from Yuzvendra Chahal. Roy doesn't time his drive through the offside. Chahal fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. Very much the first choice spinner in white ball international cricket for India these days, has supplanted Kuldeep Yadav, who is not in this squad. Chahal is in shortish delivery and flatter again. Roy again can't beat the man in the offside. Shreyas Iyer doing the fielding at cover, and there is no
Tightly
run.
packed little ring on that offside, isn't it? You've got the backward point cover there. All seem sort of almost like an arc, right in that sweet spot for a batsman leaning, for a right-hander leaning back, looking to play the cut shot.
Yeah, indeed drive through the offside. I'm not sure Chahal will be bowling too many slow and on the stumps. He bowls this one slow outside off stump, and it doesn't matter where you put the fielders if they let the ball go straight through them. Shardul Thakur backward point almost tried to sit on the ball, failed to sit on the ball. It goes straight through his legs for 4. Absolutely nothing wrong with the delivery. Slowish outside off stump, bowling to his field, and Shardul Thakur missed the ball completely at backward point. 4 runs to Jason Roy. He moves to 18 off 11. England 20 for no loss, chasing 125 to win if you're just joining us. Shreyas Iyer with his 67 was the only India batter to show any sort of fluency. This one's fired in flatter and straighter, and Jason Roy jabs it rather off the outside part of the bat to cover point, and there is no run. Not seen a googly yet from Chahal. A little hint of turn, but nothing extravagant. Roy got himself into a very awkward position.
Can't afford to miss field in T20s though, can you?
Well, you can't afford to miss field like that in any form of cricket.
That was horrible. Just seemed to go straight through him, didn't it?
Last ball of the over, fired in flatter, and Roy nearly drags on. He tried to hoik it through the onside or maybe flick it down to leg, and that indecision was the problem. Just drags it past leg stump to the man at short fine leg. 11 runs off the over from Yuzvendra Chahal, but 4 of them came through a misfield and 1 through an inside edge. Slightly unlucky for him. England after 3, 21 for no loss.
Azizi says need a good power play. Be sensible, Jason Roy. Be sensible. Jersey Oak says Chahal looks like he could do with a good dinner. Jane says, what is Nestle's hat? Is that an harp? I'm exceptionally rubbish at this game of my own devising, sort of like the English. Well, I'll move a bit closer, Jason, so you can see the top. There you go.
Dip your head a little bit more. You needed to sort of, that's more like it.
It's North Carolina. Beaufort.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. That's what it is. And a full size says, hello, I totally forgot about this and just woke up. Guess that's my commute sorted.
Well, you get, I don't know how long your commute is, Anna.
Yeah.
Where things are going, hopefully not too long.
Yeah. Leia says, how many runs would Hales have to score to balance the fact he is apparently a complete knob?
Ben Stokes in his autobiography said Hales is not the type of player you make an exception for, and since then he's been probably the best T20 batter in the world in all T20 cricket. Well, the man who made that horrible misfield will have a chance to make amends, as it's a change of right arm seamer at the Adani end. The man who'll jingle up in a second is punched by Roy slicily to Shreyas Iyer on the deep point boundary. They come through for a single off the bowling of this man. Preferred to Deepak Chahar, his Chennai Super Kings teammate. Can move the ball away from the right-hander Shardul Thakur. There's a good knuckleball, slower ball type thing. It was probably picked because he can bat, but he slammed his first ball down the throat of deep square leg in India's innings. This is back of a length, a little bit of extra bounce. Lovely shot by Butler, just feathers it through the gap between third man and point, but third man does well there to chase that back to the boundary. In fact, Shreyas Iyer chasing that back with Akshar in attendance from third man. 2 runs to Joss Butler, timed that one nicely enough, and Tony Butler really hasn't had to do anything in this innings yet.
No, I mean he just played that very nicely. Let the ball come onto the bat. The classic case of letting the ball do the work.
Indeed.
24
for no loss of 3.2 overs. Butler manages to completely confuse himself as well as Shardul Thakur. He went outside off stump. In fact, he went outside leg stump, then went outside off stump, then thought about flicking it over fine leg, then sort of half thought about reversing his shot to get it past third man, and ended up squirting it to third man for an off his body,
onto his own arse, didn't he?
Off his sort of back thigh.
Did he do that?
And ends up. There is no run to short third man. Interesting.
Quite extraordinary.
Thakur in outside off stump. Butler has a swing at it, and it did move a little bit away from Butler, who wasn't really on front foot or back foot, beaten outside off stump, through to Rishabh Pant behind the stumps, and there is no run.
Beautifully done. Have fooled him all ends up with that one. I think he swung through the shot probably about 5 minutes before it arrived. But he's still there. You always get an impression with, well, it's Butler at the moment. Roy always looks like he's riding his luck somehow, particularly early on in his innings.
Yeah,
I know he can be massively destructive, but you always feel he has a few slices of luck getting wherever he gets to.
This is another slow ball that just sticks in the wicket a little bit. Maybe the wicket is a little bit too paced, as Shreyas Iyer was saying as the innings break. They take a quick single, the ball bounces off Butler's bat, but as we know, players don't like to run for those things unless they go for boundaries. Butler on 5 off 9, hasn't really had to do much other than paddle along merrily in Jason Roy's slipstream. Roy is 20 off 14. Not entirely without alarm, England 25 for no loss. I think we're seeing, Tony, that this is not a particularly easy pitch to bat on.
No, I mean, England bowled very, very well on it, but the quicker bowlers got the ball to lift. Mark Wood particularly, well, so did Jofra Archer. There was a bit of movement. I thought Chris Jordan bowled terrifically, very accurate for a lot of the time, as is really kind of his role, isn't it? And hence he was awarded, as it were, with the last over.
Outside off stump, and Roy flat bats it down the ground. Mid off is quite wide, and Roy picks his spot very nicely. Thakur semi-ruins a good over. 4 runs to end it. It goes for 8 the over. England 29 for no loss.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
This would be an acceptable start for India if they weren't defending 125.
Yeah, exactly. Leia says also on Shahal, it makes those poor kids in UNICEF spots look buff. I wished I was as skinny as him. Jay Grover says, bother, I should just say North Carolina every time about my hats. Well, yeah, it's a good shout, Jay. More often than not. Anna Forsyth says, Jason Roy Slipstream is a great name for a band. Warren says,
we had the Jason Roy experiment in test matches, didn't we? Sorry.
Yeah. Roy at the moment seems to be the batting version of Bess's bowling.
Hold that thought. Akshar into the attack, replacing Yuzvendra Chahal, and is greeted by wonderful bit of fielding at long off. Butler came down the track and tried to slam it over long off. I thought he'd got all of it, then thought he hadn't got enough of it, and it just about dropped in time for KL Rahul to spring backwards at long off. Got both hands to it and flicked it back into the field of play. Wonderful stuff from KL Rahul, and the end result of all that is that Butler has been restricted to 1. Brilliant from KL Rahul.
Oh my lord.
Jumped backwards and caught it, recognised he wasn't going to be able to keep it in the field of play and let go of it. Maybe if he'd had a friend helping him out, there would have been a catch, but that's a brilliant bit of work from KL Rahul. T20 boundary fielding at its absolute best. In fact, they come back for 2. Rahul's done so well to save 4 runs. Down the track comes Butler, pushes into the offside, squirts off the outside part of the bat, and there is no run.
Yeah, Butler thought he had the big dog out the golf bag there, and suddenly found he had the 9-iron, didn't he? He's trying to send a 350-yard drive.
Akshar in
club for pitching,
and Butler walks across outside off stump, and the fact that he was outside off stump means that even though he misses the sweep shot, he was not given out LBW. There's a long chat between Virat Kohli and various other fielders. In fact, it's bowler captain and keeper and Virat Kohli with 2 reviews remaining, of course, in these COVIDious times in white ball cricket. Does go for the review. My thought was that it was outside the line of off stump.
I mean, that seemed to me a case of using it just because you'd be across if you got to the end and hadn't used them.
I do like that turn of phrase now called COVIDious.
Didn't really turn from Akshar Patel. He's not really trying to turn the ball. Butler went outside off stump to sweep, and I don't think there's a toe end of bat on it. It's hit him on the knee roll. I think it's going on to hit the stumps, but I think he's got himself outside the line of off stump. Virendra Sharma, the third umpire, has to make the decision. I think at best it's umpire's call.
Certainly his back leg is well outside the line. His front leg, more questionable possibly.
That's the only real question. I think you can see middle and leg stump. there's no danger it's going over the top of the stumps.
I think if it's his foot, the interesting thing is the angle of his leg. I think his foot is well outside the line, but his leg is sort of angled back into line, isn't it?
Umpire's call on impact. It was a fair. I still think it was a bit of a hit and hope, really, from Virat Kohli. They stay with umpire KN Anantapadmanabhan. Sorry.
No, even you can't do it. I'm just calling him KN.
KN Anantapadmanabhan.
Extent of this series.
Gets that one right to the man with the nicely groomed moustache. And India don't lose the review, but England don't lose the wicket. Good start, though, from Akshar Patel to Butler, who, oh my word, he's timed that well. He's pushed that beautifully through extra cover. KL Rahul didn't have that many yards to make up from mid-off, but even with a full-length dive, he couldn't catch up with that. Gorgeous timing from Butler, 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That just looked like a push and it raced away. Beautiful from Butler. He's on 11 off 13, comes down the track, he gets all of this one, I think, gets to the pitch of it and sends it sailing into the 6th row over long on. That's what he was trying to do with the first ball, which KL Rahul managed to snag in. No one is snagging that. 6 runs.
I believe in miracles since you came to bat. You're 60 thing, you're 60 thing. I believe in miracles since you came out to bat. You're 60 thing.
Nice little bit of flamingo work as well. Back leg was up, wasn't it?
And making it look like it was the easiest thing in the world. And the way Joss Butler plays in white ball cricket, you sort of expect that it was. 12 runs off the over from Akshar, and it could have been more if KL Rahul hadn't grown wings at long off of the first ball of the over. The crowd appeared to be reluctant to give the ball back. Hardik Pandya is not happy with something. The fact that the crowd are reluctant to give the ball back, I think.
Well, I'm not quite sure what the COVIDious rules are at the moment, because, to be honest, how many people will have touched that, argued over it, and touched each other in the process of sort of genuinely meleeing over it?
You can see umpire Anantapadmanabhan had the hand sanitizer out in preparation and has just hand sanitized the ball before giving it back to Akshar Patel. England 41 for none off 4.5 overs all of a sudden. This is I did question whether this would make England would make a mockery out of the target. Down the track comes Butler and punches a single to long off. Good fielding, but it was always going to be a single. Virat Kohli is furious with life in general. 13 runs off the over. England are 42 for none off 5. Need 5.5 and over. And for the next 5 overs, which could go a long way to winning England this game, it will be Bear, it will be Hendo, and it will be Tony.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Bear and Hendo. Hendo, do you want to have a quick run at some social media? You'll need to know what's next, I'm sure.
Next tweet is Fraser Middleton.
Yeah, I had a bit of a problem with my internet, so I went down for a little bit, so I'm going to have to get that back. But I it shouldn't be too long.
Do you want me to read it out?
Go on then.
So Fraser says, I could see the 100 using arse buys. Warren says Rahul avoids a nasty Toblerone injury there. The big dog out the golf bag, says Jay. That sounds like a picture book for baby boomers. And there you go. You're up to date there, Hendo.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for that.
Bhuvi Kumar, the beautiful Bhuvi Kumar eyes is in, and Joss Butler plays that very sedately and solidly and just nudges it away into the offside. There is no run.
I have something here for Jay. Just to prove something.
What is it?
Okay, what is it?
Did you not hear the noise? A can of beer.
Oh, you were opening a can. But presumably, is it beer?
It is indeed.
It
Punk
is
IPA.
Indeed. Beer. Okay. The bear is on the beer. Have no fear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. As this one is turned off his legs by Joss Butler. It's down to square leg. They will take 2. They'll have to hurry. They make it comfortably enough. 44 without loss. England, I think both these players have chanced their arm. Butler, we thought, in the big dog out the golf bag incident, where he ended up with the 9-iron, we thought perhaps that might have been his number. It wasn't, but it was an extraordinary piece of fielding. We're actually watching it again.
It was quite an amazing.
It was
wasn't
extraordinary, wasn't it? I say, if someone had been backing him up, he might have been right there. This one is flicked bristly to backward square leg. They again are able to take 46 without loss.
What did you go on a Nindo's poll, Hendo?
I went 12 overs.
What was he? Was that how quickly England might get to the total?
Yeah, yep.
He had 8 on there, which I think was a bit ludicrous.
It's reverse psychology.
Yeah, I still think 12 overs, they'll do it. 12 overs. I mean, they could lose wickets, who knows? It could all turn around, but they shouldn't do.
We shall see. Kumar in nicely, but pushed straight to mid-on by Josh Butler. Looks a bit frustrated. I thought that was a good ball. England have time. The run rate is not too onerous. They've made a decent, if not massively explosive start. We've got 2 balls left. 2 balls left of the power play. They're 46 without loss. Jason Roy, now and again, has perhaps ridden his luck somewhat, but he is still there too.
I think you're expecting a lot to for someone, a teammate, to have got anywhere near KL Rahul for that catch, because he would have had to run. The nearest would have been at mid-on, which would mean setting off probably before.
I wasn't really criticising the fact there wasn't one. I was saying, had there been one, possibly. Bhuvi Kumar in, and this is slapped straight to point. No run again. Of frustration. 2 consecutive dot balls. This is not what Joss Butler likes to be doing. He'll be gearing up, of course, for his IPL stint. Do they stay in India
after this?
Once this series is over, and go sort of pretty much roll straight into the IPL?
Well, it does, yeah, because the last game here is the 28th, and the IPL starts on the 9th.
Yeah.
Then. So yeah, they'll stay.
So he's pretty much settling in for the long haul, isn't it? Although I think their families are allowed out for this. This is worked off his legs away past mid-on, and that's going to go beautifully for 4 runs by Joss Butler.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
It's the 50 up 2 for England. 50 off 6 overs, which means that they're trucking along at what? 5.3? No, 8. About 8 and over, isn't it?
Yeah,
just over 8. Just over 8.
They need 5.35.
Warren says beers. Naval Butler says, you boys look like you're about to sign up for a Santa convention. It is a compliment. A grey beard is another term for immense wisdom. Yeah, I think I'm going to get some of the Just for Men before too long. Jay Grover says, this is why I love and respect the bear. Still the only gorilla. Tell me off, making me feel dreadful and humble. A proper dad voice. Well, he's a dad, isn't he? He's a dad. He's got 3 kids, by the way. Did you not know?
I am, Jay, and I salute you, Jay. Don't you worry. George Bob on Hot Mic says at least there's a few Americans listening, which is good to know.
Leah, outside context problem, says that beer reminds me of the fact that I have to find out where to get Gaffel Sonnenhopfen in Hanover during the summer. Okay. And Jay Grover says the Facebook group is growing. Post-match, I'm tweeting Bairstow and Stokes. What's that about? The Facebook group is growing. Do you mean? What do you mean?
Our Facebook group, our Facebook followers, maybe.
I'm not quite sure what you mean. I mean, we have been putting out our news on Facebook. So
we definitely have. Jason Roy is going to be facing, and gets in a little bit of a tangle. I think he was trying to push that into the onside, and conspicuously failed. And he looks around, wondering how on earth he didn't manage to do it. So it's a dot ball, and England stay on 50. Patel is in again. Roy this time lofts him over long on all the way for 6 runs. What a shot.
I bet England wish they played test wickets on this kind of wicket, don't they?
Well, yeah, Axar Patel, I mean, there's a little bit of turn on that, nothing too scary, and it was a full flow of the arms from Jason Roy.
Yeah, that's why he should have been opening the test, shouldn't it? Isn't it?
No. No, I think that ship has sailed, long gone into the good night that we shall never see it again.
Thank God for that.
Virat Kohli has hands on hips, looking Mr. Grumpy. Not at all surprisingly at the moment. Only 125 the target. And this one, well bowled though from Axar Patel. Butler drives it. Sorry, Roy drives it to mid off, and will just be a single. 7 so far from Axar Patel's first 3 deliveries of this 7th over. 57 without loss, England. none for 23 for Axar. It's not the same as the Test cricket. He'd have taken 7 or 8 wickets by now. As this one is cut by Jos Buttler, will get himself a single. It was right in his arc, wasn't it? Cleared his leg, did Jason Roy, swung it away.
Wow.
That is Axar Patel is going, this is not supposed to happen at Ahmedabad. I definitely should have had 5 wickets by now. Forward comes Roy. Axar, much better ball. Hurried Roy a little bit. Axar skips across to his left to field off his own bowling, and there's no run.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is T20 wickets, isn't it? They don't do much. They never have done. It's all in the batsman's favour.
And that one is away, but straight to extra cover, no run. I was seeing an interview with Jos Buttler where he was talking about not really looking at run rates anymore, more thinking about how many boundaries do I need to hit. As sort of the mentality of batting. So he's probably got that worked out. There was 8 runs off that over, by the way.
Just the one boundary though, a 6.
Yeah, a 6, and the rest a couple of singles.
Warren says, Anindo's poll, is it Guinness Book of Records worthy? No, I don't think so. Evening dad jokes allowed, says Farong. I know a lot of jokes about retired people, but none of them work. A bit like this one. Leo says, don't bother with the 4 men stuff, Hendo. It's the same stuff we use, but you pay extra for the fact you don't have to put womanly stuff into your manly shopping basket. Okay, all right. That's good.
You have a manly shopping basket, Hendo? And what if so? What is it about your shopping basket that makes it manly?
Well, absolutely.
There's nothing. My shopping basket just goes downstairs and opens the door to the man from Sainsbury's.
It's not on the front of your bike, like sort of Nurse Gladys, is it?
No. I mean, I don't think I've been into a supermarket for nearly a year now.
Yuzvendra Chahal again, cut by Jos Buttler. Backward a point, but just a single.
It's like in the jingle.
59 for England. Yes,
it's quite a good one.
Jingle him up.
Knowing me, knowing you, there is nothing we can do. Knowing me, knowing you.
No, I do like that jingle. Just fits perfectly, doesn't it? Chahal.
It does.
31 for Jason Roy. Pulled away through deep mid wicket. That's 4 more.
See, at the beginning of this innings, I thought that Roy, there was a good chance of Roy getting out to the spinners early on. So I went under 9.5 for Roy. It's nearly 2-1.
He's enjoying himself, isn't he? You can see he's, grown in stature and confidence, almost with every ball.
Well, he's very much an all or nothing player, isn't he?
Yeah,
Roy.
He is, and we're getting all of him at the moment. As he's lofted this high, I suspect he's got all of it. Yes, he has. That is almost off down Ahmedabad High Street as it was slapped away to mid wicket for 6 runs.
Do you get the impression that Hardik Pandya was standing there saying, "Why am I not on yet?"
Well, he may well have been.
He looked very upset. He looked very upset about that, as if to say, "What on earth is going on out here? I should be bowling by now."
85 metres that travelled through its arc. It was fairly flat, actually. He didn't get a huge loft on it.
Crowd catch. Someone hung
may have
it.
been.
No, it was a big lad. He caught it in deep.
Oh, did he, Bajo? Well spotted. Well spotted as we're looking at a free car. How do you win those cars? It's the i20 Turbo. Looks rather sleek. And this one's pulled away again. Does he have enough of it? No, this time it's along the ground to deep mid wicket, and there will just be a single. 70 without loss. England. We've had 7.4 overs, 2 runs there. 43 for Jason Roy. He's huffing and puffing a bit. I'm sure it's a muggy night in Ahmedabad, the Manchester of the East, as it is affectionately known, given its history in cotton and cotton manufacture. As this one is slapped down, but too long off. And I think that was that Hardik Pandya, the man who was wondering why am I bowling yet? Well, he has to do some fielding on that occasion.
Whenever
I've seen, just be a single on that occasion.
Whenever I've seen Hardik bowl in T20s, he looks like he should be better than he is, but he always seems to get a lot of tap whenever I see him, to be fair.
He looks like he should be better than he is. Chahal in. Oh, that one turns back and given. Bishop Pant didn't seem to have any doubt. It just turned back enough, caught Butler full in front, and India have their first wicket. I don't think England are even thinking about a review.
Nah.
Butler is trudging on his way.
Well, I don't want to say, but that was just another straight ball.
Well, it wasn't that straight.
I think it was. Look, I don't think this turns at all. Look at it.
Yeah, it did straight.
It shaded.
Tiny bit.
But the point is, Hendo, it would have had to turn, to agree with you, it would have had to turn a long way to meet where the bat was. So where his bat was lined up,
sorry?
It would have had to have turned a lot further to go where his bat was. He was playing down, it's the old, he was playing down, Bakerloo, and it was on the central,
I think it was, it's bare, it's marginal turn there, if anything. I think just straightened a tiny bit from leg stump. And you're absolutely right. He's played a long way outside it, so he's playing for turn that isn't there, or
he did.
not enough turn.
I was walking down
Mark
the stair.
Zip says update.
I played for turn that wasn't there. Sorry, I'll let you carry on.
Mark Zip says update from mechanic. As I suspected, 4 rotors plus pads and at least 1 caliper. Ugh. You know it's serious when they offer you a loan car. I guess I should have entered the GPL. Absolutely. Did anyone enter the GPL?
I shall have a look now.
There's certainly a lot of discussion about it.
12 entries.
Matthew Jez missed it by 10 seconds apparently, and he had about 8 offerings, but that's £8 we never get back.
Well, you can have a go next time. We had
snooze, you lose in T20. You've got to be on it quick.
We had 8 offerings going from 207 all the way up to 345. Now they got 120. What did they get? 126, 5, what?
124.
So
can you
28 off 24, by the way. Josh Butler went for.
Can you put that in the chat, because I couldn't hear a word of what you just said. My internet's not very good.
Oh dear. Dawid Malan, by the way, is the new man at the crease. Hey up, lad. Yorkshire's finest. Currently best T20 batsman in the world. He's consistently lived up to that billing in England colours. Can he keep doing that? It is going to be Hardik Pandya who's going to be bowling at him an average of 25.6 and an economy of just over 8 actually. Best of 438 for Hardik. He's going to be bowling there initially to Jason Roy, who I'm sure would be very happy to try and see the job done for England rather than cause unnecessary consternation as he pulls this one from Hardik away down to deep mid-wicket. Should be just a single on that occasion, and it will bring. They didn't take a single. What were they doing? Did they not take one?
Yeah,
they did. Of course they did.
Let me give you some GPL news. The only man who can win is Ballo, and that's only if England lose.
Oh right, okay.
So we've got nothing over 249 then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. We've got
249, 250, 251.
Well, no, you see, we have 207 and 237, which would be an England loss. And then the next highest score, Ballo again and Ombre Nuevo went 267. Well, if they got 126 even, that's what, 152.
So only one of the scores would necessitates England losing. The rest would involve an England win. Is that what you're saying?
No. Because if England win, the maximum they can get if they were one. If the scores were tied and England got a 6, it'd still only be what 258, and the next score is 267. So
right,
those scores are way too high. So England have to
Dawid
lose.
Malan's going to face his first ball here. There's a slip awaiting him, and it's kind of he under edges that and didn't really get hold of it at all. He's scratching his mark in a quite concentrated manner. Is Dawid Malan there? He clearly probably feels he missed out there. 73 for 1. England.
Josie Oak says the collapse is on. And Warren sends us 2 pies, one of which is meat and potato and one of which is steak and ale.
Has he been watching
pie off?
A pie off?
Steak and ale every time.
Has he been watching Dominic Bess, I was about to say, rather unkindly.
Ooh.
This one is steered straight to backward point. Another dot ball for Dawid Malan. None from 2. He does sometimes quite start slowly, does Dawid. Hendo.
Yeah, Naiman Butland says, what's the equivalent of mushy peas over in India? Hey up lad, let's go up the road and get some sloppy dal. Could be that.
Sloppy dal.
And
that Roald Dahl's brother. Rather messy brother. Sorry, Hendo.
It's alright, carry on.
No, you're okay. You were. Well, there's a ball in now. This one's pulled by Jason Roy. Actually, he's pulled that straight down to fine leg for 4 runs.
It was actually Daryl Milan because he's left-handed. But there you
Oh,
go.
it was. Yes, it was. Seemed to rather. Yeah, he pulled that down. Controlled that well, actually, did Daryl Milan.
Yeah, just kind of rode it really, didn't he?
He did.
It was quite straight. He just got inside it and paddled it round.
77 for 1. Milan off the mark with a boundary. We have 2 balls left of Pandya's over. He'll be bowling again to the left-handed down Milan. Milan rocks back and it's through to Rishabh Pant, and there is no run.
And Forsyth says, I hear you, Tony. I hear the way you call Milan Yorkshire's finest, equal parts yearning and relief. And Jigger says, I wish for a traditional Yorkshire welcome to Dawid Milan. Thou fucking shite, thou fucking sure pony bugger. That's not how you spell Dawid either. Fucking Nancy. David, I think he's trying to say.
Don't we have a jingle about exactly that? The new next generation David. This one is again past his outside edge and through to Rishabh Pant. It's the end of the over. Only 5 off it. 77 for 1 England. Hendo.
Yeah, Farong says 254 is the highest match total if England hits 6 when the scores are level. So I don't think we've got anything one on 254. What was the lowest? He said, was it 258 or something like that?
No, the lowest was 207 and then 237. So.
And then nothing after that, between what, 237 and what else?
267.
Oh, 267, okay, so yeah, 13 runs out. Even if you were to, even if England were to win it with a 6 off the, when the scores were level. So yeah, everyone is out. You're not going to win the GPL today. You might as well enter more and cover more numbers tomorrow.
That's not strictly to. Barlow could win if England lose, but that's not likely to happen.
Well, it's 48 off 66 is not normally, with just 1 wicket down, is the equation for England.
So England, well, it's not beyond the. I mean, England would have to be bowled out for 113 here, wouldn't they? So that's not beyond the bounds of possibility with England.
Exactly.
Losing. What would that be? 36 runs. Losing 9 for 36. Quite possible.
Chahal continues, and Jason Roy doesn't really get all of this, and it's down to long on. They just take a single. He was looking for something larger. Chahal, I think, rather enjoyed that. I think he feels he might have just got the better of Jason Roy there.
He got that quite nicely. I thought he hit that pretty well. He didn't get it underneath it, and I think he realised that he wasn't going to get it over the boundary, and he sort of checked his shot a little bit. It was quite nicely timed. Went down there reasonably quick.
Yeah. Well, he is a skinny lad, isn't he? Yuzvendra Chahal.
Yeah.
So about 6 stone soaking wet, probably. 78 for 1. He's bowling from that Adani end. 1 for 26 for him so far. And he comes back foot for Milan, just strokes it to cover, and there's no run.
Yeah, well, Milan, I mean, you'd be tempted as the number 1 batsman in T20 cricket to show your skill, your ability to hit the ball, but Milan knows that England don't really have to do that here. They can just stroll to this total.
And this one he has lofted. Well, he's chipped it really.
He's hit it more the point.
Yeah, he got hold of it, but he will only have taken a single. Is it away on the way into the onside? I don't think he did play that like a chip shot.
Catch up on some tweets.
Let me catch up with a tweet. Yeah, Balo has been in touch. He says, "Oi, it's Balo, not Ballo. I wouldn't mind, but today I signed up for Patreon after years of pouncing off you for my cricket commentary. I was hoping to recoup in one go by winning the GPL at the first time in asking."
I like your
way of doing it. In comes Chahal again to Jason Roy, who I think was looking initially to move this into the offside, and it ends up going to leg. Yuzvendra Chahal is able to chase it to field off his own bowling, and the net gain is just 1 run to the score.
Well, Bailey, just keep chasing. That's what I say. Every day you can chase, but we're on air anyway. But thank you for patroning us. It's very nice of you.
I was about to say. 80 for 1. Thoughtful looking at Owen Morgan sits next to Joss Butler, looking on. 2 balls left of my little 5 over stint here, and I think me for the day. as this one is just steered to leg. And an easy single taken once again. 81 for 1. 1 for 28 for Yuzvendra Chahal, who's only gone.
If it's your last ball of the day, Tony, you could nip off and do.
Nip off and do what?
It's the last over of the day, Tony. You could nip off and do me a story.
Not
nip off
today.
and do me a story.
Hendo. I've got work to do today, I'm afraid.
What work do you have to do
on this
Tony?
occasion?
You're a retiree.
Well, I'm a working retiree. As I'll see what I can do. As Chahal is in, and reverse swept by Roy and unsuccessfully. So that was a wide, was it not?
No, it wasn't given.
It wasn't given.
Should have
Indeed,
been.
it wasn't. Anyway, that is the end of my little spell. It's 81 for 1 England. They should be cruising, but you just never know.
All right, that's me for a bit, isn't it? Oh no, I'm still on. I'm still on something. Let me just do some tweets then before Nestor's comes in. Prince Harry just texted me, wants to know the time and the place, covidity notwithstanding. I think this is talking about gingers that want to come after me. Warren says, is the T20 series going to mirror the Test series? England win first, best forget the rest. Well, it is according to Tony. He's got a 4-1 prediction down. Mark Zip says to Julia, whoever Julia is, for non-geo-blocked coverage, try Guerrilla Cricket, live commentary jingles, and irreverent, not to mention irrelevant fun. And that's about it.
Well, Hardick is in to Darren Milan, who I haven't played a jingle for yet, so he's worked that down to long leg, and I'm going to play it now.
Introducing the next generation David.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Darwin Milan, congratulations.
I cooked 2 eggs during my time off.
Well done.
It's amazing what you can get done during a break. Commentary.
Were they hard-boiled, fried, or scrambled?
They were fried eggs on toast.
Nice. That's always a good thing. I finished the eggs in the.
Had to have toast. You had to have toast in there, Nestlers.
Absolutely. That's a good thing. Hardick has gone for 6 runs in his 1.1 overs. And he is going to come into bowl to Jason Roy, who's 47 or 28, England 82 for 1. He's in now, and it's slapped square by Jason Roy out to the man sweeping on the point boundary. No, doesn't even get there, only gets halfway there, and it's only about 50 metres. So he gets himself a single. Darren Milan is 7 off 9.
I thought when I started it that I was insane because I'd never get it done in time. And I was panicking. I kept running over and looking at the overs and thinking, hang on a minute, I've got to watch this now.
Curiously, I turned down some cheese on toast for that very reason, but I didn't think I'd be able to eat it in time.
Well, I had to put a pasty in the microwave, which is a heinous crime as far as I'm concerned. It took 25 minutes in the oven, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I was either going to burn it, as that is pulled really well actually by Darren Milan. Let's get it very fine. Hardick banged it into the pitch. Maybe he did take a bit of pace off it. Darren Milan swiveled on it. And decided to take the pace off it himself so he could get it finer, and he did, and it went down to the fine leg boundary for 4 runs.
He's bought him a couple like that now, and it's really easy meat for Darren Milan, to be honest. He doesn't have to really put anything into that.
No.
Just helps it on its way. It's poor bowling, I have to say.
Absolutely. Well, this is it. I say this about Hardick. You know, he's not the quickest, but you know he bowls the same sort of pace as everyone else. But he never really got, when he got to the Test side, he never really. When he tried him as a bowler, he got a bit of tap in that too. Cut by Darren Milan. Fine again. Good bit of fielding down there though by Shikhar Dhawan. And in fact, they only get through for 1. It went so fast down there. It was a good dive by him. Yeah, his bowling has never really been any like his batting. He's never really come off as a bowler, I don't think. Anyway, when I've seen him, seems to get a lot of tap, and I don't know
I think
why.
Wasn't there a lot of talk around the time of the 2019 World Cup that it was between him and Ben Stokes as the best all-rounder in the world, and he really hasn't lived up to that billing at all. He's done a few good innings here and there. He's in and out of teams. That doesn't help, I suppose, and injuries, of course.
Well, that's their famed bench strength, isn't it? You know, I mean, they seem to have a core, and everyone else is interchangeable. Which is not a bad thing, but obviously staying in the team breeds team unity. Paddled down the leg side by Roy, but doesn't really get onto it. I think there's an under edge onto his leg, or maybe he didn't even get hold of it with the bat and it just came off his leg. But Pant went down the leg side, dived on the ball, and Jason Roy thought about a single, but it wasn't there. As we look at comparisons, like tower blocks, we'll call it that. At this point, India were 54 for 4, England at 88 for 1. This game is done. Would be my guess.
37 required, isn't it? 37 off the last 9 overs. England would have to do something spectacularly poor here to lose this.
Whether there was a T20, was it in Sri Lanka that we managed to get out for about 7? That's played on the leg side and just clipped off his pads by Jason Roy out to deep square leg. And it's a single. Wasn't that an ill-fated pre-World Cup 20 whatever it was? Do you remember?
We managed to get out for about 7.
It was a T20. I'm sure.
What do you mean we got out for 7?
Oh, no, we lost about. we lost.
How could we possibly got out for 7?
No, we lost a hell of a load of wickets in no time at all. We were cruising to a victory, and then.
Explain yourself there.
I think it was in Sri Lanka, and we were playing a T20, and we looked like we were cruising to a victory, and then we lost about 7 or 8 wickets for the equivalent of about 10 runs or something.
Sorry.
It was India.
I was
India. 16. And it was. I think it was Chahal took a lot of wickets. Didn't he take 6 for 25? Knuckle will back me up on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
It was a horrific failure. I mean, we were absolutely cruising for victory. So it is possible that England can screw this up from here.
Joe Grover says, "Bye, Tony. You know I love you." As a Patreon member, says Neymar Butlins, I'd like to propose some changes. A, beard trimmers. B, jingles for the commentators so we know when to listen carefully or go to the loo.
We did used to have commentator jingles, but they died out in the Gorilla era, didn't they? There were commentator jingles in the Test Match Sofa era.
They were indeed.
We've got so many jingles, you can't fill up the time with even more jingles.
Washington Sundar is into the attack. Ooh, that's going to be close. In fact, it is close. It's close enough that he's out. Jason Roy has been given out. I think that's pretty plumb. I wouldn't bother reviewing that. He's just pressed forward, and it's another reasonably straight one, Hendo.
No. Go on, get out. I don't like watching Jason Roy play cricket.
Yeah.
Well, the DRS timer is counting down. Oh, he's going to review. Well, he figures I've got 2 reviews, and I've got 49. Is he on 49, isn't he? And
he's done a Coley.
49, yeah.
I could play a review jingle. Shall I? Why not?
I was definitely in. Were you definitely in? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he hit it?
He's played so far outside that. I mean,
well, he's trying to work it into the leg side.
Well,
might be
he's
outside
played a long way outside it. I mean, he's played for a leg break when he's basically an off-break bowler. Or maybe he's just got the bat hasn't. I thought when you look at it front on, it looks as if the bat's got caught behind the pad, but it's not. It's way out in front of his front leg. It's a horrible piece of batting, to be honest. And he's out.
Yeah, it was. It was umpire's call on your stump for a minute. And I thought it might be lucky and go outside the line, but first up, it looked like he was out stone dead, and it turns out he was out stone dead.
Go on, get off the pitch.
There was a little bit of verbal interplay going on there as he wandered off. I think he's not one of the most charming of opening batsmen, Jason Roy, I have to say. But at least it gives us a chance to see Johnny Bairstow back in Ahmedabad, which is always a glorious thing.
Well, indeed. Let's give him a little jingle that goes like this.
Johnny Bairstow's smarter than the average Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow's been this good since daycare, so all put on your wigs and let the crimson hand blow. I want the Pope to give him his own large prayer. Oh, he can hit the 6s, although it's so dark. He'd even run a 10 at Bradford Park Avenue. No other Yorkshireman can compare. I tell you, Johnny Bairstow's smarter than the average Bairstow.
Now, I love Johnny Bairstow. Not many people do, seemingly. But the scores that he got for the in the test review from Guerrilla commentators were just mean and nasty. I have to say, I think these are dark days for Johnny. Not just because he's struggled with the test arena, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Well, he's been mucked about, hasn't he?
He's been mucked about, and he's going to be mucked about more in the near future, and I'll explain that.
Oh, you do that after this ball as he pulls away. It's typical Johnny B.
He wants to hear what Hendo's got to say.
Well, absolutely. He needs to know. He needs to know.
What?
Yeah, it could have gone either way. That call, wasn't it? He did almost get outside off stump, but
He did.
I think it's fair enough. It's such a rotten shot, really.
It was. Played round a straight one. Funny enough. Being an Englishman.
Sounds familiar.
Yes, it does. I'm just going back trying to find if we have any commentator jingles. As Johnny B pumps that off the back foot with a nice back foot drive, but straight to Shikadawan, who's in mid-off, and ain't no run.
Well, everyone talks about him being, going straight to the IPL, and the fact that he's got a good contract there, which he has, and he's with Sunrisers. But what happened towards the end of the last IPL?
That's played to mid-wicket by Johnny B as he presses forward, no run.
I mean, he wasn't doing badly at all, but he became a victim of the need to get or to get another overseas player in, and they wanted to get Jason Holder in, and they had to drop him and bring Riddiman Sahar up to open with break off.
As that's cut nicely by Johnny B, but out to the man at backward point, and it's just the one run.
So they brought Riddiman Sahar in to open so that they could get Jason Holder, an extra bowler, into the team and an overseas player. And Riddiman Sahar did really well opening with David Warner. So it'll be curious to see what happens at the beginning of the new IPL season as to whether they'll go with Riddiman to get that extra bowler in, and whether, if he does well, Johnny will be sitting on the sidelines.
Well, I mean, the overseas player that he got dropped for was Kane Williamson, wasn't it? So that was a bit of an issue.
No, it wasn't. It was Jason. It was to get Jason Holder in. It was to get Jason Holder in when he was called over.
But they rejigged the side when Bairstow went out, because he never played with Kane Williamson. Did he in the same side? I thought they kind of switched it all around. But yeah, it might have been to get Jason Holder in, but that's clipped into the leg side, out to deep mid wicket, and there's no run.
Well, you're not often going to leave Kane Williamson out of a side if he's fit, are you? I mean,
he didn't play in that side. That was a funny thing. Bairstow opened, and then when Bairstow kind of got dropped, then Kane Williamson came in. As you say, Holder went down further the order.
No, because it was Riddiman Sahar who was brought in to open the innings there, and so they had a wicketkeeper who was Indian, so they could get another overseas player, and it was Holder.
That's played up to long on, and it's a single.
Well, Leia says, Hendo, you haven't responded to her offer of a private Zoom class on making your own pasties. Matty Jez says, sent a picture in of egg on toast. It's a new segment. Nestle Boy does breakfast. Over the line, more like outside the line, says Warren. Ooh, hang on a minute. My Twitter feed just went mental. Jay Grover says, now Hendo is sucking up to Bairstow. Too little, too late. Your card is marked.
You can't beat Johnny up the top of the order. I mean, he's a glorious player to watch.
No, but he's a ginger. The gingers
are well, yeah, they may be, but
he also says he'd normally get excited by Karen Gillan sending me a message. Sadly, she wanted Hendo's address so she could send him a parcel bomb.
I have no idea who Karen Gillan is.
The ginger girl actress from Doctor Who.
Well, there you go. I don't watch Doctor Who, so I wouldn't know. Would I?
Do you remember this jingle?
My Beutelmaus is verstumpt.
I do. It's. I'm sure Leah will be able to translate that for you.
The Beutelmaus.
I've got a jingle.
What was yours, Nestlers?
Mog did me a jingle.
I know the Bear's not going to play his old jingle because he hated his old jingle.
No, there was one that I did that was really good.
Yeah, but there was one you hated.
But of course, I'm not going to play that, but I'm going to try and find the one that was really good.
Well, Jay says commentator jingles were testament to Norcross's gigantic ego. Then again, didn't Bear take exception to his? My notes say yes.
Yeah, they did. And then I managed to get Muhammad Ali saying I am the greatest and chop that out. Put it to something. Jahal is in, and Bairstow's hit that high and maybe not long enough. Yeah, just enough. It's gone over long on where Hardik Pandya is. It was a good arc. And it didn't drop. It dropped inside the fence, but outside the wire, or the rope actually. It's 6 runs. Got a lot of elevation. Went very high and went just about long enough.
Yeah, it wasn't dissimilar to the one that Butler played when he was caught. Although, of course, because Rahul was flying over the boundary at the time that he had to throw it back into play. It only cleared the boundary by a yard or two.
Indeed. Chahal is in down the leg side, hit hard and flat, and nearly really well caught by Shikhar Dhawan, just coming in off the boundary about 10 yards, came in about 10 yards. I mean, he was probably a yard or two in from the boundary, but it was hit pretty hard and flat by Bairstow. Might have just been on the half volley. He didn't hold on to it anyway, he spilled it forward, so it wasn't going to be out, and he only got a single.
Well, I think Anindo's missed out. His poll didn't have anything beyond the 12th over, and we're now into the 13th.
I think this will be 16.3 overs. Something like that.
I can't wait to do those 9 balls.
I'll be out here by then, thankfully.
Probably.
Messi Jez says, I never thought I'd see the day when Hendo was displaying his expert knowledge of the IPL. Wonders never cease.
Yeah, it's strange what can happen to a man.
Attempted, I think, a little attempted ramp there by Manan, but he didn't get it anywhere, and it just dribbled out on the leg side and there's no run. So
well, Ian Barker says Bairstow was dropped for holder. I am the sad sack who watched every IPL game from Kansas City and chose Rajasthan as my team, 8th of 8.
Well, I would support Rajasthan simply because they've just got all the England players that I want to watch in it. That's the Archers and the Stokes and the Butlers. I mean,
well done, Ian, though, for watching every single
that is
game.
Incredible.
That is good going, because we couldn't do it. That's driven by Tower Malan up to long off. They'll get a single. He QN'd the last one when he was trying to ramp it, by the way.
Not a lot else to do in Kansas City.
I don't know. I've never been there. Well, you could always look for Oz. But some mad people even went on to do a bit of the BBL after that, didn't they?
Is it Kansas City that's not in Kansas?
No, that's a good question.
I don't know. You'd have to ask an American that. It's the kind of thing I don't know.
I have a feeling that Kansas City isn't actually in the state of Kansas. I may be wrong there.
Hit straight down. That's a good shot by Bairstow. He threw it up wide to Chahal. I think it was, and with a little bit of drift, and it was going further wide, trying to tempt Bairstow into probably making a mistake, but he didn't. He hit it straight back, as true as a die, over the bowler's head and over the rope. It's another one of these. There's an awful lot of jingle playing in T20.
There is a lot, isn't there? I was just thinking whether Johnny here is thinking, if I have a really brilliant T20 series, they can't leave me out of the Sunrisers team. Maybe he's thinking that.
That would have been a wide if he'd have left it, but he chopped at it, but Johnny B, and it's gone out to who's that out there? Bhuvi Kumar on the fence at deep cover, and it will be just the one run. He'll retain the strike.
I'm confused. Kansas City is in Missouri, but Kansas City is in Kansas, according to Irish Outsider.
There's 2 Kansas cities?
Both of these statements are true. Well, according to Wikipedia, Kansas City is in Missouri.
How bizarre.
How weird. Weird. You can't.
Well, maybe Ian, you can tweet us back and tell us what the fuck we're talking about, because we don't know. You live there.
Yeah. God, we had a jingle for the sweep. What did that go like?
Sweet, sweet and flow, sweet and flow, sweet, sweet and flow, sweet, sweet and flow, sweet, sweet, sweet and flow.
I quite like that.
I'll tell you what, we could have really annoyed the hell out of people during the Sri Lanka tour when Joe Root was batting.
It's true. Smash straight back down the ground by Johnny B. It's outside the off stump. Pretty flat by, is it Washington or is it actually Washington Sundar, isn't it? Yeah. Smash straight back over the bowler's head along the ground to the long on boundary for one of these. Johnny B's out there for a good time, not a long time.
It's good to watch, isn't it? He's gone to 20 from 9. Doesn't even look as if I'm going to get the 9 balls.
No, it could be over by the end of this over. You never know. Oh no, I've got an over after this. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to have
the Kansas City conundrum. Kansas City, one is in Kansas and one is in Missouri. The nice one's in Missouri. They straddle the border.
Oh.
Parts of it are across the river in Kansas. It's mostly in Missouri, apparently.
That's clipped straight to a wicket by Johnny B. No run. But it's the capital city. Is the capital city, isn't it? Kansas State, surely, isn't it? Kansas City. I don't know. Down the track comes Johnny B. Doesn't get to the pitch, but gets enough back on it to push it past Washington Sundar down to long off, and it'll be a single.
I think there's streets in Kansas City that are in Kansas and some are in Missouri. Like, you know, I'm in Kansas over there and I'm in Missouri. Weird.
No, Topeka is the capital of Kansas, says Irish outsider, sorry.
Irish outsider.
Yeah.
Topeka.
And
Topeka,
George
Kansas.
Bob says the state border goes through the city, yes. The Kansas City sports teams are on the Missouri side. That's blocked by Darryl Milan up to long off, and there'll be a single.
So you learn stuff when you tune into Guerrilla Cricket?
Absolutely. There's a wealth of knowledge out there in our listeners. And if you listen to us, slowly it seeps into your brain. Then you forget it. But it was there at one point.
England were all out for 7 once in a T20.
So says the bear.
I didn't mean all out for 7. I meant we'd lost a whole load of wickets for 7. I didn't mean we were all out for 7. Washington Sundar bowls. It's leg sidey, but pretty full, pretty flat. Bairstow just drives it up to long on, gets himself a single. 114 for 2. 11 runs required.
Johnny, don't look angry. You're going to win this.
He always looks angry.
I know.
Yeah, it's not a team thing though for Johnny, is it? He wants to do well himself. I mean, he's his team man, obviously, but you know, he needs a boost to his own confidence.
Darryl Milan is facing up. Oh dear, chipped it back and chipped it back. I think he hit the helmet of Johnny B.
As Johnny Bairstow got in the way of Washington Sundar there, he could have caught that. I think there's going to be an appeal for obstruction of the field.
Calm down, don't get him angry.
Now Nitin Menon is telling Washington Sundar to get away from Johnny Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow is saying, "What, me? I don't know what's going on." I think there's he could appeal here for obstruction of the field. Not sure whether he's going to be given out. I'm guessing not the way that the umpire is trying to calm the bowler down. But we need to see a replay of that as well, especially from side on, I think, to get an idea of whether Johnny got in the way while he was backing up there.
Are we going to see a replay? Are they going upstairs? I don't think they should. But I think you're right. He did seem to chip it back. And it did look like that Washington... But Washington also didn't seem to make that much effort to go to it until it came off of Johnny, it seemed to me. But
yeah, well, I mean, it's a controversial moment, and they're not going to allow us to see the controversial moment, seemingly.
No, it's the BCTI for you.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just draw a veil over that, shall we? Well, they still need 11 runs, and there's a chance that I may get a ball by ball commentary if they don't manage to hit 11 off the next 6 balls.
Well, that's just true. 6 off the first ball will help tremendously for you not having to have a go.
Indeed. And I've got a couple of custard creams here waiting to be eaten.
Oh. You see, you could eat them in the quiet period, before you know. I'll just talk a bit longer unless they can say some tweets.
This is what happens, you see, when I let Tony do the rotors. He puts me on much more than I want to be on.
That's probably a wise thing, though, actually, Hendo.
Well, no, it's because I like to try and do some articles in between the times that I'm not on, because no one else is doing them.
Well,
seemingly.
Thacker is in, and it's wide of Johnny's off stump. He throws the bat at it, gets an under edge, and goes through to Pant, and there's no run. And now he's gone up to have a chat about something.
Oh, let it lie.
I don't think it was.
Here we go. We're going to see it again.
It was driven back. Bairstow's trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, there's nothing he could do about that.
There's nothing he could do about that. Sundar's come across. It's come off Johnny B's helmet. Sundar's trying to catch it. And he shouted at Bairstow, Pratt, or something. And then started giving him the evils. Thrown up outside the off stump, driven by Johnny B. Aerial, and bounces about 2 or 3 yards in front of the man down at long off, who's about 10 yards in from the boundary, but he'll get single.
Technically, shouldn't they have a concussion timeout for that?
Hit him on the head, yeah. Actually, though, what you could argue is perhaps that Johnny's a little bit too close to the pitch there where he's backing up.
He's
on the pitch. He maybe should be a little bit wider than that, but...
Well, there's no rule that says you have to be this far wide, does it?
No, there isn't. Law, it would be, of course, Bear.
Of course, Andrew. Of course, it would be a law, not a rule.
It would be a law of cricket.
Bloody laws. 115 for 2, England. I've got 4 balls left and I'm out of here. And then Hendo will give you about 3 balls and it'll be over.
I think you should just stay on, Bear.
Well, I could do if you can be asked. Do you really want to do 2 balls, Hendo?
I do. I can't wait.
Okay, well, Knackle wants to come in and do 2 balls too, so I'm going to get off.
All right.
I'll stay here if you want, actually, Knackle. If you just can't want to come in and see the last 2 balls, it's up to you. Thacker is into the crease. Ooh, tempted cut by Milan. Just drops it into the ground. Doesn't want to go for the run. Would have been run out at the other end. He didn't really know where the ball had gone. Turned around and Johnny B was already at his end, so he had to run down the other end. Had Thacker actually hit the stumps, I think it would have probably been out, actually. But
been out by miles.
It would have been out by miles. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, he'd have been out by a good 2 or 3 feet. The overthrow went down. He nearly got hit by the ball as well. It wasn't far off his shoulder. He was a good 2-3 yards short had it hit the stumps. Good attempt. He's down on one knee. But, no, not out. He gives the thumbs up to Johnny B. Although he wouldn't.
Not quite sure why.
Yeah,
because he nearly ran him out.
You nearly ran me out, you bastard. Slower ball outside the off stump. Bairstow tries to clump it through the offside. It's another under edge, and it goes square on a leg side, nowhere really. And they get a single. And they're going to move on to 117 for 2. They require 8 of 32, so 4 and a 6 will do it. 2 4s will do it. We're inside 15 overs. What did I say? 16 overs and 3 balls. I said I'm going to be a bit over there. But these things never get done as quick as they could be done, do they? I mean, if you're going to win, you might as well, I'm sure if Butler and Roy were still in, it'd have been over 2 or 3 overs ago. But once you start to lose the odd wicket, you just make sure you get over the line. Short, slow, into the pitch. Probably a wide down the leg side, I'd imagine. Yeah, indeed. Good thought. Not particularly well executed.
Getting a bit chippy, the Indian...
wide.
The Indian players?
Yeah, I don't know why they're getting chippy. They got 125 and they're going to get roundly beaten. England 4-1. I'm going to revise that 5-0.
They're all out for 7.
Dawood Milan is facing up. That's another one down the leg side. Punched by Pant down towards the man at short fine leg. I think that'll be a wide and a run, so that'll be 2. I believe, yeah, it is a wide and a run, and there's still 2 balls left in the over. Maybe they're trying not to get Hendo to do commentary. They've decided that's not a wise thing, so we'll give him another one of these.
You know what, Johnny's looking up for the fight, isn't he? He's looking like he wants to take everyone off.
Exactly. It's all getting a bit feisty out there.
Yeah, it's that long journey he had, and then those 2 ducks and the 28.
Yeah. 5 to win of 32 deliveries. Thacker is in. Johnny bunts that out to cover. They go through for the single. So 4 required. And if it's a 4, Hendo doesn't have to commentate. Anything less and he does.
This has been a good over from Thacker, actually.
Yeah, it has been.
Apart from the
2
wides,
yeah.
obviously. But I mean, in terms of the way he's taken pace off the ball, it's been very good. He's completely foxed both batsmen. But it's all a bit too little too late, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Well, England have played 25 ICC T20 ranking matches, and their rating is 275 to India's. I didn't see what it was. Played into leg side by Dawood Milan, down to deep square leg. They will only get single. Hendo is going to have to do some commentary. Are you coming in? I didn't see what you said.
I'm going to get 1 ball. It's the end of the over. It's 122 for 2. Bairstow's 25 off 16. He's batted absolutely beautifully, Johnny Bairstow. He's an absolutely wonderful batsman in one-day cricket. Milan 17 off 18. If you were asked which of these 2 looks the top batsman in T20 cricket, you'd have to say Johnny Bairstow, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But Milan has just dropped anchor in a T20 sense and ensure that England get through the total. And they're going to do it with the best part of 5 overs to spare. It's going to be Milan to face. Who's going to bowl what will almost certainly be the final over?
And more importantly, does it matter?
Not really. It's going to be Washington Sundar. So he's going to be walking past Johnny Bairstow again. Johnny Bairstow will be backing up very close to the stumps, no doubt, to see if he can antagonise anyone else. And Milan waits, the left-hander. The target is just 3 away. England 122 for 2. He's in. He bowls to Milan. Milan just strokes this through mid-off, a little bit in the air, but no danger of being caught. They move to 123 for 2. Dawid Malan goes on to 18, and it will fall to Johnny Pesto, the great Johnny Pesto, to put the Indians out of their misery in this particular T20. It's been a romp, really, for England, ever since the first couple of overs when Jofra Archer and Kohli. Rashid bowled really well, tucked away behind square on the onside. They're going to get a single. They're thinking about the second. They won't get it as the throw comes in on the bounce to Rishabh Pant. The scores are level. The margins couldn't be closer. Bairstow and Washington are making up, and that's beautiful to see.
By the
and
widest
it'll be down to Dawid Malan then to get these final runs.
By the widest of all margins.
Yes, by the widest of all margins indeed. Malan has a little look around. He's happily going to pick up a red inker. He's down the wicket, drives it in the air. Is he going to be caught? No, I think that's gone flat for 6. Has that gone all the way? England have won it with a 6. So if you needed to win the GPL with a 6 with the scores level, you would have won the GPL. But no one got near it, and England win by 8 wickets. As easy a victory as you will see in this form of the game between two very well matched and highly achieving sides. England go back. Is each one of the T20s in Ahmedabad?
Yeah, all 5 at the Modi Dome, and then
they go to Pune for the ODIs. Is
quite
that
right?
Yeah. Okay, so they'll be back at this place they've been for a few more weeks anyway. Johnny Bairstow is seen to smile and laugh even. He's taken his helmet off, revealing his total gingerness, and Bhuvi Kumar's saying well done Johnny, and they of course play in the same IPL franchise as well.
And going back to the Sunrisers discussion, it was the fact that Bhuvi got injured which meant that Sunrisers needed an overseas bowler, which meant that Johnny ended up out of the team.
Yeah, well there you go. That is true, but I mean if you can get a wicketkeeper in who isn't an overseas player, you can find room for another overseas player, can't you?
Yeah,
that's the problem. If your wicketkeeper happens to be an overseas player, it's a tricky one in the IPL. It really is. Anyway, that's England putting India to the sword, maybe just easing some of the wounds from the Test series with a victory with 4.3 overs remaining. I'll just go through the England batting. There's not much to say about it other than the fact that it went like this. Jason Roy, LBW to Washington Sundar for 49. He'll be pleased to have been back into a semblance of form. 4 4s and 3 6s. Joss Butler was the first man out. LBW to Chahal for 28 off 24 balls, 2 4s and a 6. And then the 2 Yorkies, one a natural Yorkie, another by adoption, saw England home. Malan with that 6 off the final ball, 24 not out off 20. Johnny Bairstow 26 not out off 17, 1 4. And 2 maximums, the bowling. Asar Patel didn't take 5 wickets today. 3 overs, no maidens, none for 24. Bhuvi Kumar back after injury. 2 overs, no maidens, none for 15. Didn't really have a lot to bowl at. Yuvendra Chahal, quite expensive. 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 44. Shardul Thakur, 2 overs, no maidens, none for 16. A couple of wides in there as well. 3 was it in the end? Hardik Pandya, 2 overs, no maidens, none for 13. Washington Sundar, 2.3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 18. So we move on to Ahmedabad again, the Modi Dome for Sunday's game, which is again a 1:30 start, I believe. Nakul and Tony will be back. I'll be working. There'll be 1 or 2 other wonderful people involved, and Indo will be on for the first innings as well. So please make sure you join us. Have we got any final tweets? Are you still there, Nestor?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Let's just do a final few tweets, shall we?
I shall fire off a few tweets. Let's have a look. Ian Barker, a friend from Kansas City that's not in Kansas. I am in for a donation to you lot later today.
Hooray!
Tough to get the ODIs on TV, so wear it. Jay says, thank you all very much. I was on a middle-aged downer and you lot cheered me up. I'm off to drink beer and watch the first series of Fargo. Okay. But then he comes back and says, Hendo, you know who Johnny wants to fight. Leia says Kohli needs a loss at the start of the series to bring his Virat level up to Bish something with stars in it. I can't work out what that is. And of course, Thice says all pretty simple for England at the Hubris Dome. Thanks for the console. Brian Barish says great job today, team. Thanks for the company. Messages, as he said after 5 overs, that if the bear was on, it's going to be a drubbing. And finally, on just flicking over to YouTube, we were joined by Daniel Capel Music, Frazzle Glasgow, Ken, who says afternoon all, great game. George McPherson says what a win from England in the next game. England should bat first because it would be interesting to see how much they score. And Frazzle says final round performance from England, barely put a foot wrong all game.
It's fair to say, yeah, it was a very good performance. A lot of players will have got some decent match practice, and they'll feel very confident going into the next game. When I can say it's worth tuning in on Sunday because the Bear won't be here. The Bear takes weekends off, so we might actually get a decent close game of T20 cricket.
Yeah, when I was doing one of the IPL weekends, I commentated on 3 super overs in a day.
Well, there you go. If the Bear is at home, then make it your mission to listen to Guerrilla Cricket when it's T20 time. But until Sunday at about 1:20 p.m, that's GMT. I have to keep asking myself. We're in March now, so it's soon going to be BST, and that'll be wonderful. I think the final ODI comes into BST time. But until then, it's goodbye from Nestle Boys, goodbye from Knuckle, it's goodbye from me, Gorilla Hendo. We'll see you again on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Guerrilla Cricket.